When first I came to Anvil town, I went upon a spree. With money at last I spent it fast, I got drunk as drunk could be. But when my money was all gone, it was then that I wanted more. But a man must be blind to make up his mind to run the trods once more. Once more, once more, run the trods once more. But a man must be blind to make up his mind to run the trods once more. And as I walked down past the forge, I met with a General Brown. I asked if he could take me on, and he looked at me with a frown. He said, last time you ran with us, no Jotun did you score. But I'll take your advance and I'll give one last chance, and we'll both run the trods once more. Once more, once more, both run the trods once more. But I'll take your advance and I'll give one last chance, and we'll both run the trods once more. Northwest we ran into Suac land, we were bound for a Sea, where cold winds blow through frost and snow, even 2 foot's me did freeze. And worst in bear, I'd no cold weather gear, and my armor was covered in gore. It was then that I wished that I was dead and could run these trods no more. No more, no more, run the trods no more. It was then that I wished that I was dead and could run these trods no more. My striding friends, they lay dead in the snow. We've barely a moment to mourn. I'm injured myself and I need some help. Get a physic and help this thorn. Now as the shades of night roll on and my blood won't cease its pour, it was then that I wished that I had died and could run these trods no more. No more, no more, run these trods no more. It was then that I wished that I had died and could run these trods no more. Now come all of you striding and steading folk, and listen to my song. If you come back from those long fights, I'd have you not go wrong. Take my advice, drink no strong drink, don't you thirst for battles and war. But get married instead and spend all night in bed and run these trods no more. No more, no more, run the trods no more. But get married instead and spend all nights in bed and run these trods no more. No more, no more, run the trods no more. But get married instead and spend all night in bed and run the trods no more. Hi. So, here's what's going to go on today. I have in front of me the lyrics for the last song. I haven't quite written them up yet in here. And I thought today would be interesting. It's not going to be games, it's just going to be chilling and learning how I filk stuff. That's pretty much going to be it. This is where if you have questions and stuff, like you've wanted to figure out how you do a specific thing, how you manage to just make everything happen, how do you start, all of that lovely stuff. Hello, Eva, how you doing, my dear? Let me see. Oh, hang on. The chat list and the chat box are in each other. Let's move the chat box up a little bit. There we go. That's better. Cool. This is pretty much going to be it. This is for anyone. I hope it does get a bit helpful. Fingers firmly crossed, at least. And it's also going to include me playing music because I haven't sung in quite some time, and I want to try and get it done. Hi, Jasmine, as well. Lovely to see you as well. Lovely. Okay, so. What I'll start with is the last song because that's what I have so far. And it's because it's my first original, it's very difficult for me to kind of say what my thought process was. I'll start at least with how I got the music. The music is in Dadgad, and that is the first one I saw. It was in Dadgad, and I hadn't learnt Dadgad before. So this was, I had looked on YouTube to try and find a video explaining the very, very basics of, Irish folk or anything like that. Liam, hey man, was just going to have a midday nap, but saw you were streaming, so here I am. I am sorry to have taken such a liberty away from you, bud. Hopefully you're going to learn shit, or you're just going to listen to my voice, fall asleep fucking anyway. It doesn't matter, it's fine. Nap if you need, but here if you want to chill. So Dadgad itself is similar to something that I've used before, which is Drop C. I used that for quite a few other songs, including the Hefty Yeti intro that I gave him. That was in Drop C, and I can just play that quite easily. I do have a lullaby, actually. My Varushkan song is a lullaby, technically. In terms of actually building the song itself, oh, Chris, another creator, has followed. Thank you very much, buddy. I've just seen that. It's not come through on here because I have... Normally I would go to a PC scene, which will show... Actually, you know what? Let's very quickly... I'll do a transition here. This is where it would normally come up, but unfortunately I don't have those things on at the moment, so I have to switch to this scene. I had to make it quite frantically at the very last second, like, oh, shit. So, right. What is my main instrument? My main instrument is my guitar for when I'm doing my own songs, and my drum for when I'm accompanying other people's songs. It's taken a while for me to learn how to do guitar and singing at the exact same time, which is fine. Now I can do that. I can do my old songs quite easily, but I still can't drum and sing. I think drumming for me takes a lot more concentration, and I just can't do the two together at the moment. I'm trying to think of like my because this was all done in a like 3 or 4 hours. I've got no real clue what to show you in terms of what I wanted. For example, I know this first paragraph here was just I was trying to figure out how it would be possible to do random stuff. I wanted a theme for one. Most of the time I will pick the vibe it gives off. Now, if anybody has seen the Songs and Stories, Virtual Songs and Stories show on Twitch, you would know that some songs are obviously going to be harder, or some songs are going to be upbeat, downbeat, ballad, uplifting, depressing, those kind of themes. Once you've figured that out and like, oh god, what am I doing? There we go. I was going to bring myself over here so I'm actually looking at the camera instead. Once you know what you're doing,
as in theme-wise, it makes it a lot easier for you to figure out how am I going to make it ballady, what's it going to be about, that sort of thing. So the first thing you start off with is your theme. I wanted a depressing as fuck song. Naturally, I got a depressing as fuck song. I like to think of it as quite depressing as fuck anyway. Well, hats off to you, as I'm getting back into piano and I can't play keys and sing, so I know the struggle even though it's a different instrument. Mate, hats off to you for playing piano. Well, piano's a big bulky thing. I used to have keyboards when I was a kid. My sisters did anyway, and I used to play on them. But never really wanted to sit down. Yeah, a little hard to play in a field. That is true. I have seen examples of it, like little portable... They're not pianos, but it's like a piano mixed with a xylophone. I'm sure someone will know what I'm on about. Yeah. So once you have your theme, concertina, that might be it. It sounds familiar, at least. Hammer dulcimer? Oh, Jesus. All right, we're getting... I don't know shit about musical theory. I want that known now. Yeah, that's another thing, actually. You don't have to be completely knowledgeable in how music works in order to make stuff. The only stuff I know are tabs and chords. And everything else I can Google. So if you are trying to write something and you're having yourself a heckin' struggle in your brain parts trying to figure out, but I don't know this stuff, I need to know this stuff, otherwise it won't work. Bullshit. As it works. Keyboard, but it's transferable skills. Yeah, that's true. I've seen one of them, but how could you make it look more medieval? Well, I've seen one in a group called, well, a couple of groups actually. Dread Crew of Oddwood, for one. They used to have a concertina player. You can still hear it in some of their older albums. And who else was it? Ye Banished Privateers have another one as well. They have a concertina player. Both of which I have used for Filks. Yeah, so you've got your tone, brilliant. You've got your general theme, i.e. what you want your song to be about. Like, you can have it depressing, but be about losing a mate in a battle. It could be getting your shoe stuck in some mud. It could be about anything like that. Once you've got those two, then you start looking for, personally, I start looking for songs or music that I like. I'm sure everybody has a Spotify playlist, a YouTube playlist, anything like that. It's just titled LARP or LARP music. I have 2, I believe. I've got... oh, no, sorry. I've got 3 because I'm currently working on a joint project. More on that later. I have a LARP playlist. I have a completed Filks playlist as well. So, ooh, steady. For any songs that I have already done... Oh, hello, let's have a look at this. Not that, no. That's a melodica. I have seen them in the field, but they are very difficult to try and make into not melodicas. You're being tempted by an I'm fucking dyslexic as fuck. Appalachian dulcimer? Okay. That would work. That would very much work. I'll tell you what, let's switch this round here. I can switch my Windows capture to be... I've got a couple of extra things here. For example, whoops. It should be black in the background. Here we go. This is my LARP playlist. So I've got, obviously they're all watched, but you can see all of the songs that I have that have, at one point or another, I've wanted to filk. Or have already been filked. Collecting this really will help you out massively in terms of what you want to do and how you want to do it. Appellation like the mountains. interpolation. I thought it was, but okay. I really want to get into making music, but with the basic beat and just me like rhyming and not singing. Slam poetry. That makes it sound like it's been done before. I remember Twill's done something like that for his thing on the Murder Knife Mountain after I quote unquote bullied him into doing something like that. So yeah, you'll get yourself your theme. You'll get yourself what it's going to be about. Sorry, you should get yourself your tone. Then you get yourself your theme. Then you find yourself a song. For the last song, it's obviously completely original, so there's nothing else that really shows up. However, what I'm going to do now is bring you in on a song that I am halfway through making. I've got 3 tabs currently, 2 of which are basically I haven't started. I've got the song that I want, I've got the theme, I just need to get started on it. So, where is it? If I switch over to this again, and then it should rock up. There we go. So, here is a song that I'm currently writing called The Ballad of Bad Jack. The Ballad of Bad Jack is basically a song about when Spiteful Jack was in. I don't know if any of the noobs would know of this, but Spiteful Jack was an awful bastard who basically spent an entire Empire event making a list of players' names who were Briars or any other kind of lineaged, so that he could cull them. I'm not too sure what his plan was originally, but he really didn't like fucking Briars. I'm also just going to move this in a little bit. There we go, so I can see behind. Lovely. Going on the go. So, this song is a basic... I'm halfway done with it. I've not done it yet. It's... the song is The Ballad of Hollywood Jack and the Rage Cage from Tenacious D. What I do first is I go and find the chords for it. Once I've got the chords, I'll paste it into a Word document, like down here. This is the original lyrics here, that I've still not done anything else. I've got certain points, like the stalk would be parts in the story that I want to happen. Down below here, I've got a full story. These are just notes, really. So I asked a good friend of mine who was part of the thing what happened in his own words. When I got that, I could write it all up here. Obviously, there's loads of fucking things here, so don't worry about that. And then I would put certain points, bullet points, what I want to come across in the song. So the first one, intro to characters. Georg of the Broken Bow was his name. Banner is dreadful. I basically asked him what his name, what his banner is, and his favourite drink, just in case I need to use that later. It's thinking ahead. The issue, which was Spiteful Jack hating on the lineage, mostly Briars, making a list of them, thought they were all plants of the Green Mothers, so basically allies to the heirs of Turuniel. Currently in the game story, the heirs of Turuniel are whipping up a fucking storm. They are bad barbarians who are trying to control Forlorn and make it very awful and shitty to work with. The Judgment, which is what happened, and just general notes. They'll all be down at the bottom, so at any point when I'm writing, I can scroll down and go, okay, so how would this work? So if I was to do the intro, for example, which was... This is just the straight out music, which is G and then D twice. This is the story of old Spiteful Jack and the Briars. I won't go to do any more just because it is a direct musical rip. I will look at themes within the original lyrics. I'll use this as an example. The first lines here were, this was the story of this was the story of Hollywood Jack and the Rage Cage. Nothing could stop them when Jables and Rage hit the stage. Then Hollywood Jack hit the big time and went to make movies. Rage Cage was left far behind in the dust of his dreams. So you know that there are 2 rhymes there. I would then think, okay, do I want to incorporate those 2 rhymes? Would I want to switch between one rhyme? What would I want to do in that situation? Do I want it to be a direct copy? Do I want it to be like I've had filks where there are filks where I've had like the exact same words being rhymed there just because I don't know, they seemed like a good place to put them. I've had filks where I've changed where the rhymes were. So I would, in this case, let's see, I'm going to highlight a big old 1 here and a 1 right here and a 2 here. Let's make that red. And a 2 here. So 1 1 2 2. Forgive me, I think I've done that wrong. Let's put that as 2. That is 2. That is 3. Whoops. So, if the red numbers, you can all see that, right? Question, is an ocarina a genuine instrument or is it just from Zelda? It is a genuine instrument. Thank you, Spo. It's a genuine instrument that I'm sure has been made quite popular with Ocarina of Time. Or Zelda in general, really. Sorry, had to mute. A friend was at the door who had to exchange presents. Quite ironic. I received a very interesting present earlier. I'll tell you all about that in just a bit. So, I've numbered on the end of this paragraph here 1 2 3 2. The 1 is something that just doesn't rhyme with anything. Briars is quite difficult to have rhyme. So Briars 1 and 3 don't rhyme. 2 does. Bow and somehow. This is kind of the same format. So 1 2 3 2. Next one. Lineage. How the fuck do you rhyme anything with lineage? Number 1. Briar. We'll keep that as number 2. Mother. Could be a rhyme to Briar if you really squeeze it hard enough, but I thought desire would work better. So 1 2 3 2. This will be the same way that they originally did it in terms of just in general, really. And it makes it easier for you to just to really, follow the song. Obviously, the rest of this song does go up and down in terms of adding extra shit, like the third paragraph. Mixes it up a little bit. If you've heard the original song, it makes it 120 times easier to figure out what you're expecting. I'm actually going to close that down there so I can look at you guys again. So, if you've picked yourself your song that you want to try and filk, listen to it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, so you pretty much know it back to front. However, try and focus more on the music, because if you are really going to filk it, getting the original lyrics stuck in your head as you're trying to perform the filked lyrics will be a huge hindrance. I have done that. I think I did it originally when I was performing Alt Named Kaza for the first couple of times. That's why for most of the times that I was performing, I would have my book on me, because I listened the fuck out of that song and I would just snap straight back as if I was singing in a car going up to Empire, as opposed to in the actual moment, in character, for example. So it's very, very cool to know it like really, really well. But you've just got to try and, once you've decided, okay, I'm going to filk this now, you need to try and disassociate yourself from those lyrics, bring it over to what you're going to filk, and try and keep it there for as long as possible. This could obviously backfire. When you're done with LARP and you don't really want to do LARP anymore, you're going to have to disassociate it from the LARP and bring it back to the real world. It can be quite strange. I also don't think, for the most part, that you need to worry too much about where your music comes from. In some ways, I would say yes, absolutely stick to your national brief. Because your national brief was literally written so that you can follow that in terms of making music. What I'll do is I will put Navarre music into the Profound Decisions website. It will give a very small style summary. So, to achieve this sound, look at music that fuses Celtic folk styles with African and Amazonian sounds. Music can draw on Scottish, Irish, Greek, Galician, and Basque French folk tunes as well. Tolkien-esque fantasy for lyrics with added African-style percussion, such as Ngoma, Mutuashi, and Didadi, Amazonian, and Amazigh music to fuse with the sound of the old culture. Only a few of my songs follow that. Oh, look who it is. It's the Neon Magpie. What the actual fuck is going on here, then, you weeb? Why do you have to make things so difficult? I'm trying to teach these good people how to do a filk. I was, at some point, going to tell them about the filk that you helped with. But now I don't feel so fucking generous. I'm trying to show the Navarre music brief, right? So if I was to bring this up again, whoopsie doopsie, and switch it over to the Navarre music brief, this was the paragraph that I just read from. That's where you'll find it on the website. That's all good and well. You don't feel generous after all the gifts I sent you. Okay, this is going to have to take some fucking doing. For those of you who don't know the Neon Magpie, a good year ago, I was doing a chili making live stream. It wasn't even a year ago. No. Was it this year?
Yeah.
Fuck, it was this year. Jesus Christ. Okay, so this year, I did a chili making stream where I basically did, very similarly to this, how to make my chili, which I usually make at Empire. In this stream, I happened to come across a spoon that we have in our possession. This spoon had a couple of holes in it. The reason why the spoon had a couple of holes in it, because it was stylized to look like, was it a skeleton or a pumpkin?
It's a skull.
A skull. So it's supposed to look like a skull. So it had its eyes removed and I think its nose. Neon, as you can see here, took this as being a shit spoon and decided a couple of days later to send me a singular spoon, a singular teaspoon. He didn't say who it was from. He just said, I am sending you this. Wait, no, he didn't even do that. He just sent it. He didn't tell me. I fucking arrived. I'm bewildered to come, like, awaken at a ungodly hour, I should say, to the Amazon man looking at me with a very strange grin as he hands me a package. I open it and it is a single spoon. And obviously I'm very confused. I don't understand. But I don't think anything of it. It's just a spoon. So, okay, fair enough. Somebody noticed that we had shit spoons and must have made a funny about it. About a month later, maybe less, I got another package in the post. It was a full pack of 12 or 20 teaspoons. Obviously, the first spoon didn't have the desired effect. So I put it on the chat, I put it up on Facebook going, who the fuck sent all these spoons? And no response. A couple of people thought it was fucking hilarious, which, granted, fucking was. Oh, Witchy, you beautiful man, so good to see your face. Gonna smooch that beard when we're allowed to see you again. I await it. I've been combing it out. I've been making it all pretty for you. Although it is all over the place currently. Thank you. Let's see. So yeah, he sent the box of spoons, and that had a very similar what the fuck response. I think Smo was very confused. I was even more confused because we still get like, is this going to be our life? Are we just going to get spoons forever?
Look, I was more annoyed at the fact that we had so many fucking tiny spoons.
We had a lot of tiny spoons. I opened the box to get one out, and I think that was pretty much it. Yeah.
They're not even good spoons.
They're not even good spoons, apparently. The gift was actually an accident, by the way. Wasn't meant to go to you. I'm sure it wasn't. I'm sure it wasn't. I mean, who needs more spoons, honestly, in this world? About, what was it, 2 weeks ago now?
I'm not sure.
I think it was sometime in November. We got another package from the Mystery Man. And I know it's the Mystery Man from LRP because it had Sam and then Sparro in italics. And my full address. And this spoon that came this time was a huge fuck-off ladle.
It wasn't a huge fuck-off ladle.
It was large in teaspoon sizes. It was like a mix between a normal soup spoon and a ladle.
Yeah, but in ladle sizes.
But ladle sizes. So, yeah. Naturally, again, we have a bit of a shit the bed moment going, who the fuck keeps sending us spoons? Still, no response. A couple of giggles. And that's about it. Until this very morning, where I received the package in the post, addressed to Sparrow, and I go, oh shit, what's he done now? Now, this is a big box that arrived. Just so you're aware, we can see your head in the reflection of the mirror. There we go. When this arrived, it was a big box. And it was immediately apparent to me that this wasn't just your average spoon, because I needed ID to collect it.
I had to ID for the ladle, for the mini ladle.
You had to ID yourself for the ladle?
Yeah, he was like, do you have any ID? And I was like...
For a ladle? Okay, right. Anyway, we're getting off topic.
Yeah.
I opened the box, and I scanned past this little piece of paper. I didn't read it, because, you know, I'm more excited about what the fuck it is. It's a axe. Like a wood chopping axe.
A big boy.
A big boy. Where is it? I've lost it.
For fuck's sake.
It's somewhere over there. I had to put it because, you know, it could count as a weapon to Twitch. So, actually, let's leave it over there.
Yeah.
With a note. The note here says, a gift note from Chris Watkins, who's also known as the Neon Magpie. I must...
You've just doxed him.
What?
You've just doxed him.
Huh?
You've just read his full name out. He doesn't want his full name known.
I did not know that. My apologies. A gift note from Neon. I must ask you a question. Do you like my spoons? From Spoon Man. I don't think the gift note was supposed to have his full name on. And in fact, I'm going to cross that out for future reference. My apologies. If that didn't have his name on, I'd be shitting myself. I probably wouldn't be streaming today. I will enjoy the axe. I'm already thinking about things and uses that it can have, i.e. when we move to Cornwall and I need to go outside and chop wood. So yes, that for everyone is the story of the Spoon Man, the mysterious Spoon Man. Fuck's sake. Right. I've forgotten entirely everything about what I was doing. I'll go back to this. Let's see. Ah, yeah. Okay. So you got the rhyming bits. you know kind of what you're going to be doing for rhymes, which is good. That'll make it easier for you to think. I also use a website called Rhyme Zone, which helps it. Basically, you type in a word and it will show you all the rhymes or every word that rhymes with it, and then some that quite don't. I have used quite a few that don't really work. Like the Marcher Corsair, I have a word called frippery, which someone actually asked me about after I performed it after timeout, going, "What the fuck did you mean by frippery?" And apparently, frippery is like tomfoolery or fucking about.
Can I use the microwave for 20 seconds?
Yes, you can use the microwave for 20 seconds. Fucking hell. That is, once you've done that, I think it makes it a fuck ton easier for you to try and sort out. Like, you've got your story, you've got how you're going to do rhymes, if at all, how you're going to kind of word it, and in what particular theme, or style, I should say, for what national brief also works. I understand, and I am nowhere near denying, that my filks don't tend to work with the brief of Navarre. In fact, quite a few of them don't. But that seems also kind of okay. If you have filked something already and you are looking at it going, well, this is atrocious. This will never work. Like, you filked Barbie Girl to be something about running in the trods. That probably won't fly as well. There's also a bit here that says how to adapt your repertoire. I will... Actually, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to link this entire fucking Navarre music page, right? Just so people know what I'm seeing, and you also know what the standard is. So, let me just pop this. I want you to know that I've just purchased an ocarina. Oh, well done. Did you get one of the books that has all of the shit with it that shows you everything about how to play? Because I can't sing, so just play a small instrument. That's fine. A lot of people in Navarre will mostly play the drums, as my drum workshop shows a lot more people are playing drums, which is good. They'll sing. We have a couple of dute flutes. So Kaylee has a dute flute. And Delilah has dute flute. We've got... loads of different people have different instruments. It's mostly guitar and drum or voice, I think. There's also an absolute nutter called Tilly who comes every so often and plays a mean violin. Obviously, it's a profession, but that's not the point. I miss her so much. I love jamming with her. It's brilliant. There's usually a dance that we do where the dance is she plays and I drum for her, and we're usually on the opposite sides of the fire. I will pick the... because she's obviously quite professional, I'll pick the tempo, and she's got to try and keep up with that tempo for as long as possible, which makes for a brilliant dance thing, because it's violin, which is very good, Celtish almost, I guess. It works, and then with the African-style drumming, which is Majembe, which is over there, and that works fantastically. I'm just going to watch YouTube tutorials. That's how I got good on keyboard and nearly can play a full version of Renesmee's Lullaby from Twilight. I think that's the one. Okay. I saw 10,000 Miles and thought it was a V. Carlton for a moment. Oh, well. Okay. In terms of structure, actually, I will show structure off better with the last song. This doesn't have to be you. This could be... this is just how I tend to do things. So, what I'll do is I'll put this into Dadgad and I'll try and play it. Trying to remember Dadgad. Well, this is what I don't like about not being able to know like musical theory. I can see it's a D, and a D usually sounds like this. So I know this one's got to be D. Which is like any one of these. It's usually the high or the middle, because they sound, you know. Oh no, it's those two even. So if you give me a couple of seconds, I will use. I'll tell you what I'll do. I will mute. I'll mute my game audio so you don't have to listen to the ads. I've got usually when I'm tuning, I'll just go by videos because it's easiest for me. There we go. So, my guitar is actually an electroacoustic. I've got the little panel up here, and it comes with a tuner. I've just never used it because it only works when it's under power. So, it's just a bit useless for me. So I originally, for last song anyway, I was looking up how to play. Who is it? It was Mary Ellen Carter. Yeah. So that, as a bass, worked quite well. And then it was learning chords. Which was interesting because what I have down here is C add 9, G, and D, which are my three favourite chords. But because we're in a different tuning, it does sound different. So I think for this, it's similar chord style. Almost. The easiest one in the world for Dadgad is D, which is just this string and the rest open. Otherwise, it sounds just, you know, Dadgad, and then, oh, now it's a D, nice and easy. So once you've got these down, it's very easy for you to just try to, you know, it's this progression. Once you've got this progression down, you can easily go in between them and change it up. And you see what else works, like with the D, you can add. Even, you know, you've got this extra shit that you can do with it, which is fantastic. So that's pretty much the first paragraph. The next bit, I'll highlight it so you can all see. In fact, you know what? I'm just going to check here. You have a little gadget. Oh, that's perfect. Hang on. Let's zoom that in so you can see. There it is. As the line retreats, I watch and grieve as you stray through sticks and leaves. So these are just bars. It's one finger all the way down on the fifth with the couple open at the end. You don't have to have that, but just in case. As the line retreats, I watch and grieve as you crawl your way through sticks and leaves. Notice that is a 1-1-2-2. Same as earlier. Well, not same as earlier, but that is how I did pretty much all of this. One line, the next one would have to rhyme with it, which is difficult. I'll say that for fucking free. Trying to find a rhyme for a word that you've already used is hard. So F, A, and it goes back up to G, and then C, add 9. If it was a normal C, I think it would just be a, which doesn't really sound better. You need that extra. And then, same again, fight to you as we retreat, just to get you back up on your feet. And then the B, which I switched out because it makes it easier. Normally it could just be a bar, which is there. But what I've done to make it easier on the next bit, which is the chorus, is just 1, 2, 3. Top 3, and then I'll use that because it's similar as a bar. You're just using more of your fingers. And then the C is 1 up. And then when it gets to the chorus, you add your extra little finger 1 below, so it makes it a minor chord. This BAF chord progression was also on a video showing off how good Dadgad can be. And that, I think, is what I used. I used the 3 chords up here, and then the BAF, which is B, A, F. Once I had all 4 of them down, I could kind of piece it together. I knew that this is a powerful fucking bit. Something sounds off. Let's try that. Just sounds, punchy. It's the right place, then it sounds punchy. So once you know that that's going to be like, okay, this sounds like a chorus kind of thing, you basically put that chord progression on the chorus. Makes it easier. The chord progression of slowly going up is something that I've used before in other... I'm using Hefties as a example here because I have just used it as, used it before. It's just a simple chord progression. Mostly I got that from doing or listening to somebody called John Butler. There's quite a few people called John Butler who exist in this world today, but one particular John Butler wrote the song called Ocean several years ago, which is by far my favorite guitar song compilation of all time. I fell in love with the way that he did this. He's the main reason why I went to drop C, because it's so easy to do anything in drop C. In fact, you know what? Always careful with the last 2. So this is drop C. It's wonderful because it works in the same way in terms of barring. And so it makes it very, very easy to do songs. I don't think actually I've used any actual physical songs that have this. I have Ocean written up, but I'll get to that in a second. None of the filks that I have performed use drop C, I don't think. Yeah, none of them use drop C, but that's okay. Not Ocean Man, it's just Ocean. Take me by the hand. I knew that was coming. So Ocean is unique in a song because it's the only one that I actually writ proper music for. Reason being, every time John Butler would perform this song live, he would change it. So it was quite difficult for him to keep things consistent. But it also meant that there were so many different versions that I was listening to that I absolutely adored. There were so many bits. And so what I've done, I'm going to show this up on the camera here. This is my copy of Ocean, I guess you could say. This is tabs that I've written which bring together different parts of different songs. So the first one is one of the openings from the album version. So it's a tapping thing. Oh, forgive me, I've not played this in a while. Sounds a bit off. Oh, I just realised I made a mistake there. Okay. So it's usually on 5th fret, so... So, just that as an opener, I've written the first bit. Mostly that's just how my head works. I think that is something that is really quite important for just writing music. I have written this, especially Ocean. I'm looking through it now, just going like, Jesus Christ. When you're writing your own music, you don't have to make it conform to normal music shit. Like, you can have it look whatever way you want, as long as you understand it. You are the one who's going to be performing this, and hopefully kicking ass. It's going to be a staple. You need to know, like, exactly what you need for it. Ocean, for example, I've just got... it's like starting a sentence for you, right? In terms of how to do certain bits. Like different finishes, different open C tunes. Once I know how to do that, like I know, okay, so this is next in the progression, my head just goes straight through and says like, okay, cool, it's that one, got it. Here's how you do the first bit, and then the rest of it should be nice and easy. Let's see, as an example. That's all that's written down for downstroke C5-1 that I've got down here. So I know that the next bit is just going to be open. Similar style. Once we figure that out, I say we. Once you figured out that, it makes it easier for you to follow along if you're in a book. It also gives it a lot easier, it makes it a lot easier, I should say, for you to follow along in your own head. Everything in this songbook is handwritten. All of my songs, I think I said I was going to start on some of the other songs. Anything like this, I've got up to 7,000 forms actually, yeah, so it takes a lot to write one out. I've already done, actually, you know what? My original songbook, which got quite badly trampled on actually, now I remember it, and is old, weather-stained, worn. Here it is. This is my original one, as you can see by the mud stains. Everything here... Okay, so this songbook was written in 2 parts. It had a out-of-character songs, which is this muddy sheet here, which was everything for Thursday night. And then in-character songs, which was everything else. I've already written it up once, but because it was just plain white paper, it varies in size, and sometimes you can tell where you were or what time you were writing this out due to the amount of ink that's being used for the pen and how fucking scrawled it is, which I've had before. For example, let's see. If I was to compare here, so the Marcher Corsair on my original songbook was about that big. Now, I don't know if you've ever been to the Songs and Stories Circle. If you have, fantastic. If you haven't, it does get quite dark at night. Bless you, Smo. And one more time? No? You good? Okay, cool. So, it gets quite dark in the Songs and Stories Circle. So, trying to read this, for me, just in general, it's my own handwriting, which is fine, but it's quite messy. I did this quite quickly, so it makes it difficult. Notice how it's all on one page as well. That's probably why it's so small. Oops, steady. The other copy of March of Corsair that I have here. Oh, look at the improvement. It's spread out all nice and lovely. Now, I can read this very, very easily. There's the word frippery again. I've even got in red pen where other people need to join in. Thank you, Liam. Actually, that's a good shout. I am quite thirsty. So, I'm not saying that you need to have yours all written perfectly by hand so it becomes icy. No. It is more than acceptable to have OC paper, OC printing techniques and all that shit, just so you're able to see at night. I think that's a little bit nicer. I have here my collection of Navarro's songs from Idwin Splitroot. Sorry, I messed up her name in my head. Which is all just printed out. Very similarly, but she's got her own style to doing it. I will take Miren, for example. Right? The top of Miren, I don't know whether or not you can see this. The top of Miren has the chord progression. Capo on the fourth, which is fine, and then the chords. That's how she does it, right? There's going to be different ways of doing it. I have, as I've shown, as I say I've shown, let's use an example that has, Blackroot Broker. Okay, so the Blackroot Broker, you can see, has, in the top there, what tuning and where the capo goes, and all the letters... all the letters that are in red just above the lyrics are the chords and when they need to be played. Let's do an example. So in this I have oh shit, it's all in drop C, isn't it? I'll do my best. So this is going to be sounding different anyway. But I have in this an A minor over the word story, a C over the word even, and G over the word long. So I know, well, this story isn't complex or even very long. So it goes directly over the words. Here, for example, in the last song, I've tried to put it pretty much where the song is heard. In fact, I can now help myself here because I've got my recording. And because it's my own original song, I cannot get copyright struck for my own music. That's another fucking reason why they need to do this stuff. So let's go through this together. Okay, so I'm going to play the song. The C add 9 is going to start first. The G is going to be in between the lost and the it's. And the D is going to be pretty much on the tail end of the move.
The battle's lost. It's time to move out.
You see what I mean? This is now going into like how you would write up your songs. So my apologies for kind of tangenting. The C add 9 is going to start before the music. The G in between the around and the through, and the D will be just on the route.
I look around through the fear in the route.
This is also super helpful later on when I'm doing the recording process, so I can line up the audio. I will pick a point. Usually I'll do some clicks in the back of my throat just to be like, it helps, But then for fine tuning, you find the moments like that where it works and it fuses very, very well together. Now, in terms of filking, new music entirely, I thought we would use an example. I have a couple of open tabs currently. One is about they're both ideas that I've had for filks, and I thought I could try and work through one with you guys asking questions about what I'm doing as well, or just learning how I do things in the background. So the first one, I'm gonna basically have you guys choose. The first one is one about Dawn. The second one is one about Highguard. Now, the Dawnish one is going to be quite difficult, but quite short. The Dawnish one is, if you've ever seen Hercules, like Disney's Hercules, the animated one, the old one, not the new shit one with Dwayne Johnson. The song Go the Distance. I want a song that is kind of like that. And for anyone who doesn't actually know as well, Sam, did I message you on Discord about the small project? I can't say on stream, but if you know, then you know. Possibly. I can't tell you whether or not that's correct. I'm not too sure, mate. If so, I can't remember, and please forgive me for being stupid and crap and not being able to remember shit. I am, quite bad with my memory. I'll have a look into that later on. But the two songs that I have are okay, I tell you what, let's backtrack even further. The very first page of my songbook, I have a small checklist. Navarre, check. Wintermark, check. Brass Coast, check. Marches, check. Vorushka, check. These are songs that I want to filk about nations for. Fuck. Let's try that again. Before Sparro kicks it, I want to have at least one song for each nation. Reason being, because it's fun and I like that. Like, I've got plenty for Navarre. I have one for Wintermark, which I've technically got all the lyrics for, but I've not got, like, I know how to do the music. It's just how would I, for example, in the last song in the background here, where would I put the certain chords? And how would I play it? Because it's quite, it's difficult, In fact, actually, you know what? That's a pretty good example. Where is it? This song is called Bite that I did. It was helped in part by, it was actually Steve or Hefty who helped me out, as well as Neon Magpie, who helped me massively during the chorus. It's basically a filk of Metallica's Fuel, because I don't know, I fancied doing a Metallica song and I thought that would work really, really well for just in general. I think this song was about a Steiner who took some bite before he went into a battle and then got fucked as shit trying to get out again. It is very, very cool, but obviously I've not played any of it. I don't have the chords. On my YouTube, I have an acoustic version of Fuel that I wanted to try and twist into using better. Implementing, I think, is the word. I don't know how to do that quite yet. Because obviously, if you know Metallica Fuel, you know it is bang, 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 bang. Very aggressive, very metal. Not very folk African themed. It's not very Navarre. So I need to try and turn that metal into Navarre. And I'm still working on that. Let's see. So that's the one I have for Wintermark, because it's a Steiner lad. Navarre, obviously, I've got quite a few for Navarre. Brass Coast is... which one did I do for Brass Coast? Which one did I do for Brass Coast? I've got no idea. Apparently it's ticked off.
Bones in the Ocean.
Bones... Oh, yes, of course. Thank you. I don't know whether or not you heard Smo in the background there, but yeah, Bones in the Ocean was for the Brass Coast. Varushka was Goodnight Little Warden, which is the little lullaby. The Marchers, March Corsair. Imperial Orcs is still not filled in, even though it technically has been done, but not very respectfully. So I've done another song which also has not been... Well, it has been... It's done. It's been written. It's complete. I've just not written it down here. Also not been heard. So the ones I have left are Dawn, Urizen, League, Highguard, and I think that's actually it. The two that I have for the one that I have for Highguard and the one that I have for Dawn would be the ones that we're going to be focusing on today. The one for Dawn, my original, let's have a look, the original thesis that I had written down, I just went on a spree at some point and just wrote down what I think would be a really cool song for this specific nation. So for Dawn, go the distance style. I will get strong as fuck and wear the clank and glory. That's what I had down for it. Not very specific, granted, but it gets the point across. And the song that I chose for this was not English, not on brief technically, and not where you would normally find a filk, which makes it interesting. That's the Dornish one. Its code name currently is Power and Glory because I was listening to, I think it was Dragon Force at the time. The Highguard one is very interesting because it simply says, "We didn't eat the horses." The Highguard one, I want to make a comical song over a song that already exists, which is very, very folk. I think it's originally Irish. Archaic Wolf Paws has also followed. Thank you very much, bud. I'm sorry I didn't see that any sooner. It's fully written up in terms of chords. I don't know the song very well, though. It was picked very in the moment, and it works quite well, but I need to do a full lyrical overhaul in order to get it to any kind of good standard. The song itself is... I can't remember what it's called. The chorus is, "I'm clasped to the pig in a loving embrace. The hairs of his curly tail are tickling my face. There's no use in telling me sober to keep. Bid he lay me to sleep. Bid he lay me to sleep." Now I'm going through my LARP playlist, and it is clasped to the pig, which I think would be quite funny. The song for the Dornish one is the opening to an anime called Food Wars. The second season had a song called Rough Diamonds, which I want to try and use as well. So the question now goes down to which one should I use as an example. The Dornish one's going to be slightly shorter, and I want to try and shorten the other one as well because that's quite long. Oh my goodness me, another follow. Forgive me if I fuck this up. Wyamarus LARP. Hi. I'm so sorry I butchered the fuck out of it. Not far off, I'll take that. I am a dyslexic pile of gubbins today, so I'm hoping this works better. Out of the Dornish power song, I guess you can call it, and the Highguard mock them about horses song, which would we rather work on together? That's the question I put to you now. In fact, I can... I'll start a prediction, actually. Because there's this new prediction feature. Let's see. We'll put in... Okay, I'm going to put the submission period in for 2 minutes. We'll start the prediction now. There we go. The prediction is started. We've got 2 minutes to try and figure out which one we'd rather do. Is it going to be the horse... fuck. Is it going to be the Dornish Power song, or is it going to be the Highguard Horse song? So, pick now. If you're chilling out in the stream, I would like a little bit of an opinion. Just what would you rather have done for it? You can use your points, I believe. I think I just installed this earlier this afternoon, so forgive me if it's like stupidly expensive. It will require a vote from you down at the bottom, and then that'll pretty much do it. I'd like to see which one. So far we got one for the Highguard Horse song. That's good. I tell you what, whilst you're doing that, I'm going to put my own music on in the background, because obviously you can't get copyrighted for your own music. And I'm going to retune my guitar. So I'll put on that one.
Fresh into Anvil with blade sharpened well, I searched for a skirmish where I could excel. I soon spied a flyer and gave it a read, a group that hunts monsters with no one to lead. What luck, says I, to find such good fortune? It took me mere hours to locate the gate. Ahead were barbarians, aplenty to quell. As we leapt through the portal, I brazenly yelled, "Hold our line here, charge down those buggers. What's that green fog do?" Perhaps we should stop it. Hold our right flank. That's not right. Well spotted. Trust me, I'm in control. I can't get the cause right, it has to be said, and all of this meat just goes right to my head. This armor is heavy and awkward to wear. Tell them all to slow down, I need some fresh air. Hold our line here, look out for those bug things. Why is that tree moving? By the fucking virtues, what is that? Somebody should stop it. Hold our left flank. No, that's right. Now I've got it. Trust me, I'm in control.
Is anybody else starting to doubt this person's credentials? Just saying.
Did anyone see where the rest of them went? The monsters pissed off this...
Ooh! Oh my goodness, was that a straight tie? I think it was a straight tie. Shit. It fucking was as well. So, it was 50-50 pretty much. Right.
50-50 for what? Okay.
Okay, so Smo is picking then. So I asked the lovely ladies and gentlemen what they would rather work on together. Either I've got two songs. The Dornish Power song, which was supposed to be based off of the anime Food Wars second season. Or the Highguard Horse song, which was supposed to be based off of a song called Clasped to the Pig.
Yes, which you played me with much joy.
Which... What, sorry?
You played it to me with much joy.
I played it to you with much joy. Yes, I did. I want to try and know which one... You have the deciding vote here. Which one is it that you'd rather go for?
Well...
She's getting her dice out, so you know this is going to be a unbiased opinion.
Even number, so it's dawn.
Fuck, it's even dawn, so it's the Dawnish song. Alrighty. Yes, I am going to put this down as a complete prediction. Nice job, well done. We're going to do the Dawnish song. Let's see. Okay. So this one is called Power and Glory. We'll get this up here. Should be able to see that soon, he says. There we are. Right, so this is all I have for it. So nice job, Eva and Fendrenix, who will get yourself a little bit of score for it. Let's see now. So now this is decided. I can put this away. Put that away. So, go to distance style. I'll get strong as fuck and wear the clank and glory. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to play that song. Why is it in Roman? It's in Japanese. It should be anyway. Just not the characters. If you, I tell you what. Let me go once again. It is a honestly brilliant source. You go to your, well, I'll go to my LRP playlist, and I will share the music in question in the chat. This, there you go. This is the song that I'm going to be using, I should say. Oh, you speak Japanese? Oh, brilliant. I'll make it easier then. Well, I say make it easier. I'm basically now only going to be... oh, I'll save that. Wait, no. We'll come back to that later. So I'm basically going to be taking out all of the lyrics and replacing them with my own. Notice that they haven't been... You felt Blue Eyes from Escaflowne? Forgive me, I don't really know what that is, but I'm sure I will at some point. Fingers crossed, anyway. So I wanted this because the chord progression was quite nice. The chords are slightly off, I think, so there is some tweaking that needs to be done. So that is pretty much it. In terms of, well, I was listening to it in my head. I forgot the word head. Obviously, I can't play it on the stream, so I'm not going to be able to properly listen to it unless I mute all audio coming in or out. But that's the general gist of it. If you follow that link, you should be able to hear what it sounds like. I know it's not a very orthodox song, but now that we've got the song in mind, we've got the lyrics, we've got the chord progression, we've got a general idea of what we want. So, once we've done that, it should be a lot easier for us to try and figure out everything else. I'll tell you what. Oh, you've found the song. Fantastic. I'll keep that up for later on. In fact, you know what? I'll even put it on my watch later. Thank you, my dear. Obviously, I don't want to just sit here with me listening to it whilst you guys are not doing anything. So, we've got quite a few of the things that we were talking about earlier. In terms of a theme, the song itself is quite upbeat. It's very punchy by the chorus especially. And I would like that to have the same kind of effect. We know that we want to have it go the distance style, which I've just got in my head as, you know, the original lyrics for Go the Distance for the Hercules film was, you know, I'm going to find where I belong. I'm going to train. I will go as far as it takes. It does not matter. That's what I mean by the go to distance style. I'll get strong as fuck and wear the clank and glory. So it goes now. We've got to try and figure out. Obviously, because it's all in Japanese, it is going to be quite easy for us to make progressions in terms of rhyming. So how would we want the rhymes here to be? Do we want it like a 1, 1, 2, 2 like we have in other songs? Or do we want it anything else? Let me just get the... There we go. So, do we want it 1, maybe 1, 2, 1, 2? These are the questions that we need to start answering. So, obviously, this is going to be something that's going to be a lot more... what's the word? Audience involved. It's not like we're going to... I like to have this as kind of like a we write this thing together, but I think I spent an awful lot of time earlier in the stream waffling about you know, how I do things and how I've done certain things for certain songs. So what I think I'll do is I'll just start working on it, and then if you guys have suggestions or omissions that you'd like to make or like changes, that's where you come in with it. Yeah. In fact, I'm just going to bring these down because I'm wearing this thing and it's quite painful on my head parts. So let's see. I know the song pretty well, so this I could put this F up here. And move this word, or not. You don't have to. It would be a lot easier if obviously we weren't copyright struck to fuck, but I doubt, you know. The last couple of streams that I've done have been quite badly copyright, and I hope, fingers crossed, if somebody out there is like, yeah, that's actually belongs to me, I'll kick him in the head. So, in terms of progression, now that we've got everything we need, what I will do down here is write out a very basic story, I guess. So, we know a Dornish noble, or a Dornish... Fuck, it could be a squire, to be honest. Anyone low enough in the Dornish nobility. Looking up, perhaps. My original thoughts are going to, if we've seen the film... Oh, what's it called? A Knight's Tale. Right? So if you've seen A Knight's Tale, you would know that it's... What's it called? Oh, what's his name? A Knight's Tale is not only the best film in existence, but it also has some of the best actors. So good, in fact, that I can't remember who plays the lead fucking role. Heath Ledger. Let's see. Paul Bettany's in it as well. Mark Addy. Alan Tudyk. He was in Firefly as well. Paul Bettany is also in one of my favourite films ever, but we'll get back to that later. Either way, fantastic film, the premise of which Heath Ledger's character, William Thatcher, is not a knight. He's a squire to a knight. And his knight dies, so he fakes it, takes his place, and goes on to actually be... Well, I won't spoil it if you haven't seen it. If you haven't seen fucking Knight's Tale... go and watch that. And yes, GM Night Bear, thank you. That is Heath Ledger. Yes. So that's my thought process right now for this song. Right? So we want some Dornish nobody rising to be a Dornish somebody. So next thing I'll do is I'll put up on the other. I've got 2 monitors, obviously, so I can switch between what's going on. I will switch over to what I have on the opposite screen, which is here, which is the national page for Dawn. You can see 5 things. Nobility is an achievement, not a birthright. So we know he wasn't born with this birthed. Each verse is a step in their journey. Yes, that is exactly what I'm thinking. Yeah. I think that's probably going to be the easiest thing for us to try and do. So I'll write that down, actually, Eva. Thank you. I'll put your name and say each verse. Forgive me as well for the click-clack. Let's see. A great life leads a legend. The only thing that remains when you depart from this life is the memory of how you lived. So, yep. Glory is victory, proud defeat. You cannot armor the soul. And courtship, romance, and tragedy. The rules of the heart are complex and dawn. Sometimes love is the greatest challenge. It is indeed. They're not chivalrous. Required, and they're not required to be honourable either. It's not like if any. I think I recently was in a podcast for the Imperial War College, and the Imperial War College showed. Well, it was Kai who was messaging me, obviously, because we were doing the interview, and at some point it came up about Dornish glory charges and the like, and I think I remember being told like they're not always going to go into these honor duels that they come out with, like a barbarian character will go, come on, you and me, 1-on-1, no tricks. 90, I think at the time when I was recording that, quite a few people who I knew had already gone into fucking honor duels. They're not supposed to, but they do, just for a bit of fun, really. But it's nice to know that that's not what the Dornish are supposed to be. You know, they're not required. So, in terms of this, we can get an awful lot from this. Here, knights errant travel the land seeking an opportunity to prove themselves and achieve glory. There we go. So we know he's probably a knights errant. This is making it super, super easy for us to try and figure this shit out. If we were to click on knight errant, we would see they've got an entire thing for it. Those who are actively seeking to pass the test of mettle are called knights errant. Now, I've seen quite a few tests of mettle, one of which was actually to perform at Songs and Stories was their test of mettle, which was quite cool. Other things I've seen, you have to kill an imaginary beast, which will take you from one season to another. So from E1 to E2, in between that time, you'd need to go out and do a thing. They could be something very, very small, something very, very high. Either way, having the test of mettle down as a thing is going to be very useful for us. We'll know that we can add that in. So anyone who hasn't passed a test of mettle is a Yeo folk. So if we want, we can have this Dornish noble be a Yeo folk. I'm sure there's another way to pronounce that. I may be wrong. But either way, it could be... so what I can see here is a knight errant is someone who's passed their test of mettle, right? Anyone who's done that is... The way I think of this is like a confirmation into the church, right? If you're confirmed, the church will say that, you know, you're an adult. You can make adult decisions. Yeoman, yeoman, yo folk, yeoman, woman. Let's see. I'm helping out with the chat here. Like a Canterbury tale structure. Canterbury tale structure. I'll write that down for you as well, bud. Thank you. Okay. So, forgive me. I've got. I'm switching in between screens here. Cool. So, yes, I would think so. Yeo Man? I don't know. I'm just Yeo Folk is what we've got here. Let's have a look at that on a different tab. Anyone in Dawn who has not passed a test of metal is a Yeo Folk or Yeo Man, whether they're a farmer, a merchant, or the daughter of an Earl. I assume one or the other. I assume they get to choose. I mean, it doesn't have to be that deep, I'm sure. Like, a Yeo Folk or Yeo Man, but, you know, we've got that as an option. That's fine. So we'll work out the gender of our character later on. Let's see. So let's read more into this. Dornish are sticklers for the proper non-clothed. Knight is the correct term for describe a noble who is an experienced, capable warrior, but even the Dornish will often group knight-errants in with the knights when counting on fighting strength. And likewise, it's common for knights-errant to participate in a grand tourney, and not unknown for one of them to hold the title of Knight Protector. So what is a grand tourney? Each summit that's assembled people of Dawn host a grand tourney, which is all Dornish nobility are eligible to participate in. Apart from the scum, Yeo folk may not compete. By long tradition, the grand tourney of blind eye is turned to participation of knights errant, who often take part in incognito dressed as black knights. Here we go. This is what we need. So the tourney takes place in the form of oh, that's what the glory square is for. The winner being the last participating. So it's an all-out fight. When all others are defeated or have yielded, with the help of the Troubadours, a champion will be crowned as that season's Knight Protector. Here's a link to the Canterbury Tale theme-inspired song. Yes, please. I'll pop that up. Thank you very much. I'll listen to that later on, because obviously we don't want to get ripped to shreds. Interesting title there. Let's see. So, the grand tourney could be something that we use to get this person in. I'll write it down. This is all stuff that I'm kind of writing up the keywords so that when we eventually go back down to here, Power and Glory, you can see down at the bottom here, I have got like the Dornish Yeo Folk, Knight's Tale, Knights Errant, Test of Metal, Grand Tourney. The keywords there will help me to go, okay, these are certain things that are quite important to the Dornish. And then also your Canterbury Tale structure followed by Eva's each verse is a step in the journey, which I quite like the sound of. Obviously, they could be the same thing. I don't know yet. We'll figure that out later. So it will also go on to things like how to create a Knight Errant, the Test of Metal itself, playing a Knight Errant, groups of Knight Errant. So a lot of info here. So if we go and assume that the Canterbury Tale structure shows Yeo folk starting from the bottom and passing the Test of Metal. As you know, this could be the first verse. So I'll put V1 and highlight that shit. So because this song is from an anime, it's 90 seconds at least, I think. Let me get up my YouTube again. Let's see. So, if I was to go to my LARP page, I'll go all the way down to the song that I'm thinking of. Yeah, 90 seconds, basically. However, the full song that I also have over here is 4 minutes. So the full song was made by a guy called Screen Mode. So if I was to look for Screen Mode, now if I take this off actually. Screen Mode Rough Diamonds, there we go. So these are the guys who actually made it. I then go, well, looks like it, there we go, the lyrics, that doesn't help. There we go. Now actual lyrics sheet. So on the lyrics sheet, we know that there is another one. Okay, so there's another verse, another pre-chorus, and then the obviously chorus. And then I'm not too sure what that is because obviously, well, I just don't know, and I'm allowed to say I don't know. God damn it. And then there's a final chorus at the end. I'm assuming this extra thing is a pre-chorus. So let's then write this up. The original has 3 verses. No, 2 verses. If we're going under the assumption, I haven't heard the full version quite yet, 3 pre-chorus and 3 chorus. Knowing that, we know which verses we can make for which one. If we're doing the full song, it could just be that we do verse, pre-chorus, chorus, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, another verse, and then half a chorus. This is just, the random shit that you got to think of when you're making this stuff. Eo folk is gender neutral also. And War in the Barrens is always popular if you're feeling spicy. What do you mean by War in the Barrens? Is that a song that's already existing? Or is that Dornish something? Let me check. Oh, it will help if you manage to spell Barrens. War in the Barren. Declare war on the Barrens orcs. Oh, good. This is history in a Senate. Yeah, I'm looking at a declaration in the winter of 379 YE. The Barons Orcs are no longer foreigners and are no longer protected by imperial law. A delegation of the Orcs of the Barons would still be protected as if foreigners under this law. The attacks on the Tower of Dawn have reduced the effective military strength of the fortification by half. This does not correlate to 300 dead soldiers, but rather a fifth in this figure, with the rest being material damage. So, yeah, basically, I think this Baron Orcs attack the Tower of Dawn, so there's a song just called War on the Barons. Is there? Alright, fair enough. I'm looking at the wiki. But knowing that that is a thing could be quite useful. When was that? So that was 2016. So that was several years ago. More recently, in this year, I think there was supposed to be the Winds of War for this summer, where the Dornish are now uncontested in their control of Dawnguard. The Emperor's made minimal gains in the Carmine Fields, which remain firmly under the Baron Orcs' control. So I'm assuming Dawn are always up against the Baron Orcs. That's interesting to know. So this is the kind of shit that I would do all the time, No, I thought there were more. Ignore me. I thought that's what you're saying. My apologies. I know I'm not being very, very clear. I'm just trying to get as much information as I can. And Jasmine has followed me as well. I'm so sorry. That was 13 minutes ago. It does not come up on here unless I really have to search for it. Yes, thank you for the extra follow. That is fantastic. I'm up to 137 followers. My God. Let's see. So. We've got this information here. How would we start the first thing off? If this is going to be you folks starting from the bottom and passing the test of metal as verse 1, that's going to be this entire thing. It might spill out into the pre-chorus. If I was poorly saying that songs about fighting the barons are a good tear-jerker material, that is good. This is good. This is what we need. Baron Orcs, I don't know why I put an underscore there. Enemies outstanding. Let's put it down as being a delicate subject. It's always good to know subject. That's something entirely different. Subject, there we go. So it's a delicate subject. So a subtle hint to that would work quite well, because we already know that the way that this song is made is it's quite punchy. It's quite upbeat. We don't want to put an upbeat song with depressing lyrics, because that just won't work very well. So, next, if we're going for 2 verses, 3 pre-chorus and 3 chorus, to put that into perspective for everybody else, if I put this down here, I would basically need to copy this and paste it again. Obviously with different lyrics. I'm just using it as an example in terms of full structure. With this song, will you take this Yeo folk on the journey to from Yeo to Lord and everything in between? Will we? Will we indeed? It's not going to be me. I'm just the one with the sodding keyboard. You guys are also the ones with the keyboard, just further away. If we want to have a really good punchy song of a Yeo going from Yeo to Lord, that would be fucking phenomenal. As long as I'm sure it says something along the lines of the original concept that I had in my head was obviously I'll get strong as fuck and wear the clank and glory. So as long as maybe the pre-chorus has something to do with that, and then the mid-chorus is I'm getting there, and then the last chorus could be I've done it. Something along those lines I think would work very, very well. In fact, I'm going to write that shit down. I hate tooting my horn at the best of times, but sometimes I will admit that I come up with some interesting stuff. Choruses, wrong fucking way, there we go. Refer to okay, so choruses refer to wanting to be Big Clank, going into working on it, and then going into got it. That could work. Yeah, so nice job, GM. That will work very, very nicely for us. Let's see. I'm assuming at this point everyone's pretty much heard the song, right? So we kind of know what we're working with. We'll start, I think, with obviously the first verse. If we assume that it's just going to be about the Yeo folk starting from the bottom and passing the test of metal, I will take this, copy it, pop it up the top here so we don't have to keep scrolling over and over and over and over again. From Yeo to Lord, and then maybe a hint towards their aspirations to the throne and or their downfall. Ooh, branching out, Fend. I like it, man. I'm just going to fucking take that entire thing and copy it from Twitch and bring it over in your name. That is very, very cool, man. Year to Lord, and then maybe a hint towards their aspirations on the throne and or their downfall. Nice one. So obviously, GM, you get the progressive, but the throne and downfall, that could be something. Maybe the last pre-chorus, for example, could go full circle. Very true, very true. It could go from Yeo to Lord and then back to Yeo again. Though, how many times does that usually happen? I thought once you were a knight errant, you couldn't really get denoted from that. We've got the wiki up. We might as well have a look. Let's see. Some knights errant enjoy their life of questing for glory so much that they continue to adventure even passing after their test of mettle. Such individuals become questing knights and sometimes from knightly orders. Okay, travails of a knights errant are not just difficult, they can also be expensive. Most Dawn nobles have fairly cursory disdain for money. Don't know whether or not you heard that. It tends to get in the way of a glorious ambition, but no one can completely ignore the realities of mundane life. To facilitate their quests, many knights errant or groups of knights take a patron. So we need a patron of some kind. A wealthy noble who can financially support their heroic lifestyle. Wealthy noble. There we go. Patrons can be useful but often come with strings attached, even if it's just a requirement to serve the patron when called. So that could be, for example, if Knights Errants are going to, or Empire, the patron could be like, yeah, I'll keep funding your military battles and shit like that, but you've got to fight on this day, like on the big battle. You've got to fight. You've got to do this. That could pretty much be it. Let's check the chat one more time. Using the knight to take reference. If their lord has died and they go through the cycle to lord, and they die, and their Yo folk starts the cycle. Okay, so it's like watching. It'll be like watching A Knight's Tale on repeat, but on the second one, it's. It's in the second one, it could be Heath Ledger who dies, and then an entirely different thing happens. Well, the exact same premise. That could be interesting. I'm interested to know how that could... Well, I don't think that... The heroic death could be interesting, but with the rest of the music... I'm not too sure. That makes me kind of feel like it'll be a song that never ends in a sense. Also, in the sense, how would you, if it's a punchy musical song with a really big, powerful ending, how are we going to bring power to a death? And also give it enough, we'd need to find a way to make it so the person finds this, manages to do this thing, but we've only got a couple of verses to do it. We'd need to pack a lot of information into a very small space. I think that's what I'm getting at here. And they can always run away to the Navarre, Yeo, or Lord. Doesn't matter. That's true. Yeah. Always run away to the Navarre. Maybe facing a difficult foe, yeah, but Lord Retainers are behind me and we can triumph for X, Y, Z, yeah. It could end maybe with the first verse again, or a line that is a nod towards it. Very true. Speaking of the first line, let's fucking get started, shall we? I tell you what, I've got the stream manager on my left side here, so if you see me looking up over there, I'm either going to be looking at the stream, checking to see if you guys are saying stuff, or looking back at the wiki in certain areas. I think. All right. I won't worry too much about that. Let's get out of that and make our way back. No, that's my stream. It's a slow cooking recipe for later. With a cycle, you could just go on forever, so you could pass from bard to bard to bard, similar to the character in question. I'm not too sure what you mean in that sense. Like, pass the song, so I would pass this song over to somebody else who... That doesn't... Forgive me, mate. That doesn't really make that much sense to me. That could just be my general retardedness, but I don't know. Let's start on the first fucking lines. So, it's A minor to start with. Know that at least. Then into F, then into G. F to D, then to G. So it's this for an entire bar, then another one. 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4, D, 2, G, 2. And then that'll be one bit. I like the 1, 2, 1, 2 progression. By the sounds of the way that the story is going, I think that would work in our favour. So what I'll do is I will bring up Rhyme Zone. I have so many fucking things for Rhyme Zone. There we go. Okay, so the next bit would be Yeofolk, just in general. Yeofolk of Dawn. So in the wiki here, it says if you're planning to create a Yeofolk character, it's important to think about the social role that this character will fill, much more important than if you're creating a noble character. Noble characters can move easily from one role to another, taking up imperial positions or positions of leadership within the house or the nation as their character finds their feet. This is much harder to do as Yeofolk, so you need to have a much clearer idea in advance of what you want to play. Anyone can be a noble, but if you could decide to create a Yeofolk character, think of what kind of Yeofolk character you are. Right, so that's interesting for Yeofolk. They've got a very easy brief. Brief overview of the roles that Dornish Yeofolk can play. There is further information for these. So we've got Knights Errant, Seneschal. So I'm assuming these are more the brokers, I guess you could say. A Retainer. So the nobles keep a Retainer, a Yeofolk who serves as a personal aid and servant. So in the case of A Knight's Tale, Heath Ledger was a Retainer. So it could be he could be a Retainer that okay, right. Okay, I'm thinking now a Retainer. If I think the Knight's Tale is a Retainer that dons black armor. So hang on, if I go back to Knight Errant, okay, and then from that I go back to Test of Metal. Test of Metal, wait, no, never mind, it needs to be here. It's not, no, it wasn't Test of Metal, it was Grand Tourney, that was it, Grand Tourney. Incognito dressed as Black Knights. Okay, cool. So retainers that don black armor to impersonate a knight. Retainer that dons black armor impersonating a Knights Errant. And then somehow manages to complete a Test of Metal. So that could be something. Yeah, the Squire, the Retainer Squire. That's pretty much what I've got in mind here. Retainer that dons black armor impersonating a Knights Errant somehow manages to complete a Test of Metal and becomes, you know, when they're done with that, they are who? Testimony. If an Earl does. I'm trying to see what. I think it's just a Dornish noble you become, isn't it? When you have completed your Test of Metal, So, forgive me, chat. When a knights errant completes their test of mettle, what do they become? Is it just nobility? Passing a noble's house test makes this application part of their house. Imperial test exists to judge who is glorious enough to join the ranks of the nobility. So yeah, okay. So a noble. Questing knights are ennobled but keep seeking adventure. That's fine. So that's yeah, that was the knights errant who were just like, fuck that noise. I don't want to go back yet. Earl, enchantress, or enchanter are leaders of their houses. Yes. Okay. So our Yeo folk, are they going to start as just Yeo folk, then make their way to retainer, then make their way to impersonating a knight errant, then completing? These are the things that you really need to think about. Is it, in terms of the structure, we've got the verse, we've got the pre-chorus, and then the chorus. We can add to that if needs be. I.e., I can have maybe 2 verses, then a pre-chorus, then a chorus, then another 2 verses. If we need to, we can pad this shit out. It should be fine. Knights errant is between noble and Yeo folk, and a knight errant has been given a test but hasn't completed it. So, okay, right. So the Yeo folk, until they've been given a quest, they are expected. They aren't fucking shit. But when they're given a test, then they become a knight errant because they are knight. The way I think about it is they're a knight on an errand, right? That errand is go and do your test, come back here, and then you'll become a noble. Once you become a noble, you can become an earl. Once you become an earl, you can become a lord. If we go to full circle route, then have them start as a retainer works. I think that does work. So this is. I don't want to have it like the entire fucking story of Knight's Tale done into a really punchy song, but it may just have to be that, and I'm okay with that as long as you're okay with that. I don't know, I pointed to the wrong place. That way. Let's see. Okay, so if we go then, retainer that dons black armor impersonating a knight errant, how would that work then? Okay. We won't rock you. That's copyrighted, Delphius. We can't use that shit. We've already got a song in mind. Once you're noble, you can style yourself Lord, Lady, or Sir. Okay. Oh, once you're a noble. Oh, right, okay. I need like, Eva, have you got... I mean, I know you've just typed out everything of what everything is, but have you got like a nobility ranking chart, like from scum to the highest? I assume the highest is going to be like Empress. Because I know there's no Emperor. I remember that from last time. Give me a minute, thank you. I want you guys to understand as well, if I do perform this in the field, I'm going to need your IC names that I can attach when I'm writing it in the book, so that you guys get some credit for it as well, because this is in no way a single person's effort. Chris says you should filk Little Lion Man. Little Lion Man. Is this going to be something weird? I'm not saying that everything that you suggest is weird, Chris. I'm taken aback. The Mumford and Sons song. Now, where have I seen that before?
Fucking everywhere.
Well, other than fucking everywhere. No, I have it on another an Empire playlist somewhere. I don't think it was mine. That was the thing. I think it was yeah. I've got it here, the third one down. I'm working on a joint song. We don't know the specifics yet. We're very much in the before stages of it, and she gave me a link to her Empire playlist, and it's the third one down from there. Okay, so also a thing. Let's see. So we go from Yeofolk to Knight Errant to Noble to Earl to Empress. Okay, I'm going to take that and add it in. Thank you. This is going to be how our story will go. Be it, let's see. Let's put it in bold. So, Yeofolk to Knight Errant. That could be V1, right? And then Knight Errant to Noble could be V2. Knight, I feel like, okay, Yeofolk to Knight Errant, that's a difficult thing to do for a Yeofolk, as it's just said in the wiki. You can easily go from Knight Errant to Noble when you get your test, but getting from Yeofolk to Knight Errant, I think, requires its own verse. Knight Errant to Noble will be just the test of metal, so that could just be its own thing, which is quite nice. All children are Yeofolk, for example. That's interesting. Okay, fair enough. Razin... What? Razin Muhaji... I'm sorry. I'm normally Earl Ailsa Tamberlane, FYI, when I'm in drag. Okay. Because it's not your fault, but Min... It was not your fault, but mine, and it was your heart on the line. Oh, yeah, that one. The Empress gets more loyalty if she's also Queen. Alessa. Dyslexic. Hard to read shit. Forgive me, I'm just going to turn a light on, if that's alright, my dear. Just the middle one, because it's quite dark. It was very, very bright when we started, and now it is not. I gave you ample warning.
I had headphones in.
Did you? Oh dear. Oh, my apologies. I'm sorry. I did warn you though. Okay. Muhajim. This I'm not too sure what GM Knight you're trying to express to me. I mean, it's good to know how it's pronounced, but I'm not too sure what it means. Is it a big name? Is it forgive me, I'm completely lost with that. Ailsa. I think the drink. Okay, Ailsa. All right. That makes sense. Okay. So I think we're all in agreement that Yeofolk to Knight Errant will work as verse 1. I'm happy with that. I think passing the test of metal might be a bit much for the first verse. The first verse maybe could be a description of who the person is and assessing that they are in fact just a Yeofolk, or a retainer, I should say. Family name. I see. Right, gotcha. So Muajim is the character's... I'm sorry. No. Oh, fuck. Razin is your name. Muhajim. Guerrera. E. Of course. Like the Spanish E. Okay. Razin E. Muhajim E. Guerrera. That, hopefully... I fucking hope I didn't butcher that. I named it after Ailsa Craig, which is a sea mountain off the coast of Iran. Oh, okay. That's pretty cool. Sweet. Alrighty, Roo. So, let's get this up and in its own space. Yeofolk to Knight Errant as number 1, right? So it will be the we'll go from basic background of character and retainer. Okay, hang on, let's try this. Character, retainer of Lord. Lord dies? No. The Lord. You'd need to have another. My thought process here. If he's a retainer of a lord, the lord dies, could he take... He couldn't... He could say the lord died, but he could take his place as a knight errant. Right? all these fancy other nations with their fancy names, and I'm just like, Sparrow, it's spelt Sparrow, just take the W off at the end. And then Oakenheart, which apparently is a potion that I didn't know about. I am Xoro. Yo, I have a question. Speak your question, sir. Could the retainers knight errant die on their quest and they take it up and complete the quest given to dead knight? That's fine. It's difficult. It's difficult from my perspective to get it out of my head and then portray to you in a fashion that you'll understand, as well as also having me understand it as well. The question is, what's the worst mistake you've made in your life and what did you learn from it? That's quite interesting, actually. What's the worst mistake I've made in my life? Well, it's not going to be you. Don't narrow your eyes at me. Right, off the corner of the screen there, I just see Smo's head come into frame, into my eyesight, and just squint with her little narrow eyes and just be like, better not be me, you little bastard.
I was waiting for a salty answer.
I am not going to give a salty answer. I can't... Worst mistake I've made in my life is not... Okay, this is it. I lived in the States from 2003 to 2005. I took that for granted. I was obviously... I was 9 when I got there and I was 11 when I came back. Take that as you will. So I just thought, oh, we're just going on a really long holiday. But no, we were going there to live. I lived there for 2 full years and I was just a standard 9-year-old. I was bringing over 9-year-old phrases that a 9-year-old in the UK should not learn anyway. And then introducing these to 9-year-old kids in the US. Like, I was well versed in most of the swear words that I would know now. And then bringing it over to kids who would just be like, you know, very posh, upper middle class, maybe high class kids in, you know, a very, very posh part of a very posh neighborhood. And just be like, right, you fuckers, how you doing? And as a 9-year-old, I was fucking brilliant. But, you know, I really took that for granted. That's a very good question, actually. You made me think. How dare you? How dare you make me think outside of the box? It's actually, in terms of in character, that's also a very good question. I might come back to that later. Why was that your worst mistake, though? Why was it, why was that my worst mistake? Not taking it for granted, because I look back on that time now and I think, oh, fuck, if only I had done this, 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 and this, and this. Then I feel like I really would have enjoyed my experience more. I would have learned a lot more. I would have made a lot more friends. For example, I went from a school where there was barely any homework, like a week, to homework once a day, and I spent a vast majority of the first few months just lying about it to my parents, like, yeah, there's no homework today, and then I just go fucking watch SpongeBob or whatever. But shit like that made me think, you know, of what I missed out on. When I got back, I was just like, oh shit, I could have done this, that, and the other. I really missed out on it. And that is the biggest mistake. Since then, I've only been back to the States once for a family holiday, and it's not been the same. I've learned from the mistakes that I made. I never actually kept my English accent for very long. I pick up accents quite quickly. So when I had mine taken away from me by the bloody Americans, I wish I'd kept that as well. You know, loads of extra things. Good question. Thank you for it. Let's see. If we get back to the song here, we could take the Retainer's Knight Errand's. Okay, so if the Retainer of the Lord and then their Knights Errant dies, and we take their place. Because then, if you win the Test of Metal... No, not the Test of Metal. If you win the Grand Tourney, you are crowned as the season's Knight Protector, which is something different. It's a year-long title. It's an Imperial title, actually. Okay, that's pretty cool. Expected to help Dawn deal with the realm they represent, and in particular to be the first to stand against any threat that might issue them from the realm. This could be called upon by the Egregore or... Okay, fine. Right. Gains the title of Knight Protector. All Dawnish nobility are eligible to participate. Yeo folk, however, may not compete. By a long tradition of the Grand Tourney, a blind eye is turned to petition of Knight Errant, who often take part incognito. The tourney takes the form of a grand melee, the winner being the last participant standing. When all others are defeated or have yielded, with the help of the Troubadours, the champion will be crowned as that season's Knight Protector. One Grand Tourney is held each season. If a Knight Protector dies, steps down, or is revoked, the title remains vacant until the next time the Grand Tourney will be held. The title can be held by a citizen of Dawn. They can be revoked by the General Assembly, Dawn National Assembly, and the Assembly of Nine. So a citizen of Dawn. A yeoman is a citizen of Dawn. But Yeo folk can't compete. So that kind of puts a spanner in that kind of wrench. Or works. Although getting the title of Knight Protector would be quite cool. Won't really do anything, but it could help in getting up to Earl or Empress. So I will write it down here. Winner of... What was it? Oh, God. The winner of the Grand Tourney. Okay, cool. Right, so that's that. Let's see. I'm not sure if a Knights Errant would have their own retainer. No, I don't think a Knights Errant would. I think a Lord, a Knights Errant, and the Lord's retainer. Kind of like they're linked. But the Knight Errant could be on his quest, which is the same as the Lord. Takes his armor off and just steps into errand role. A questing knight might have a retainer, but not a Knight Errant. Because a Knight Errant is probably supporting other nobles, that's fine. Would a questing knight have a retainer that's a Knight Errant? Like, that could be part of their test of metal. Maybe a verse of the yeoman getting the role of retainer through some feat. That could also work, Fend. By the way, thanks for answering my question. I really appreciate it. No worries, man. Sorry I couldn't get to it further. Knights Errant are still Yeo folk, right? No, I thought it was Yeo folk are citizens of Dawn. And then when they get a test, they become Knights Errant. think of an example. It's like a specific... You're on a WoW quest, right? Before that WoW quest, there's nothing going on. You take the WoW quest, you accept the quest, and it gives you a temporary title. That temporary title will be on you until the quest is complete. When the quest is complete, you'll get another title for completing that quest. I think that's the easiest way in which I can get my head around that. Does that make sense?
I wasn't listening.
Okay, fair enough. If they're pretending to be someone who can enter the... Yeah. So Yeofolk can't enter, but Knights Errant can in disguise. As Black Knights, yeah. Knight Errant is still technically Yeofolk, but they're also in between. Okay. Yeofolk is baseline. Knights Errant has requested and received a test of metal, but they haven't completed it yet and been ennobled. When they complete it, they get nobled. Right. Okay. I love this. This is brilliant.
I dislike Dawn.
I know you dislike Dawn. That's fine. There's a lot of Dornish in here giving a lot of helpful hints for me.
Yeah. Pretty much everyone joining is Dornish at the minute, and I'm like...
Well, maybe they want to be Earls or Empress. Look, we're right... Fucking... Fucking... It is a bit of a mind bender, yes. Folk is the retainer. The Lord dies, but on his deathbed gives a quest to the retainer. Yes! Questing Knight. Okay. Then takes Lord's armor and off they go. Wait. Questing Knight has to complete their test of metal. Okay, right. No, wait. Fuck. Shit the bed. Okay, hang on. If they want to play a noble character who is questing for glory, then consider a questing knight instead. Questing knights are romantic figures in Dawn's knight-errants who continue to pursue an adventurous lifestyle after passing their test of metal. Right. So, in actuality, this branches. So, this could be noble on one side, and then questing knight on this side. That makes sense. Right, okay. So, Yeofolk to Knights Errant, then there's a split. Yeah? You can either be a noble or a questing knight. Either you've got it there. Nice job. Then you can go up to Earl, but only in the noble tree. Talent trees. Okay, right. This is getting it. Okay. And then from Empress or Queen. I did not know there was a choice between the two. That's quite interesting. Let me update that. Okay. Queen. There we go. Cool. Okay. Knights Errant has received the quest from Dying Lord. Okay. So if we say the Yeofolk is the retainer of a questing knight, yeah, who handed in their quest and went, you know what, I'm not going to accept the next one, and just kept on going as he was. Yeah, because let's read more on the questing knight. Can they do that? Strive to embody... Most questing knights prefer to travel in the company of a troubadour who can document their triumphs, who is a Dornish priest who uses poetry, storytelling, and songs. So it's like a bard / priest. Okay. Creating a questing knight, creating a knightly order. A questing knight could be a noble character. You might be a warrior, but it could easily be a witch, a troubadour, or a craftsman. If you intend to play a crafting knight, it's important to appreciate the large scale of PD Empire events. You will have epic opportunities for battles as part of a great army fan. But you won't be going off alone to slay a monster. It's possible to create a kind of experience for characters. If you want to play a noble character who focuses on achieving glory and avoiding the politics of playing in a noble house, then you should consider playing a questing knight. You should also decide what noble house your character is part of. Questing knights have already passed their test of metal. If you know a group who are playing a resisting noble house, and you can ask them, but you can play as a knight who is part of an obscure minor house that is simply part of your own background. Although the word knight is usually described as warrior, questing knight could be any noble character. Okay. I don't see anything about being able to... Some questing knight form groups of knightly orders. No, that's a group. Knights' orders have a patron. Yeah, okay. Questing knights strive to embody the high ideals not just of Dawn but of the quest. If it comes to a place where there is wicked magistrate abusing their power, or a monster snatching kids away, or an innocent young fellow about to be forced into a marriage he doesn't want, then it is the right and duty to right the wrong. Questing knights who ignore evil or danger can meet along the way are no better than mercenaries paid coin for their work. Most questing knights prefer to travel in the company. Yeah, okay, fine. Right. So it doesn't say that they can't actively have a retainer. So my thought is... from what I can see on the wiki, we'll start as a yeofolk, being a retainer to a questing knight. I think if usually the wiki, the way it works, if it says you can't do something, then that usually means you can't fucking do it. So, the yeofolk is a retainer to the questing knight. The questing knight on its deathbed gives a quest, a test to the retainer, which then makes him a knight errant. The test of metal comes from an earl. Shit. Okay, right. That is where we fucking hit a roadblock. Right. And then an earl is one above a noble. A questing knight can never be an earl, so we've got to switch it up. Alright, let's have a look now at Dawn. Go down to the people of Dawn. Click on the earl. The earl is a leader of a Dornish noble house. One of the important jobs is to set the tests of mettle, ardure, and resolve. What the fuck are they? Ardure is another challenge. Marriage. Test of ardure that appears for... Okay, cool. So that's a marriage thing. And then the test of resolve... Is it, I'm assuming, a duel? Yes. Yeah, it's a duel. Okay, fair enough. Sending a test enchanters. And an earl who possesses magical powers and an enchanter. Okay, right, this is fucking... I like the fact that we in this chat are trying to write a song, but are also trying to rewrite the wiki and making branches of fucking ways in which you can do shit. Okay. The title is used for both men and women. Each noble house appoints an earl to lead their house. Being an earl is an inherently political position. A character is not expected to undertake the kind of glorious actions appropriate for a Dornish noble. Instead, their time and energy should be devoted to ensuring that the other members of their house, so the other nobles, have every possible help to act. In this way, the glory of the house is ensured, and it is the glory that reflects in turn. Aha, right. So, the yeofolk can't be a retainer to the earl. A retainer is either a Dornish noble's personal attendant or else an attendant to an entire noble house. Now, trusted accomplice, noble's best friend. Okay. There is no need for any noble or any noble house to be accompanied by a retainer. Many are not, so the only reason to play one is you think your role will be fun. A retainer is never likely to be focused on the action as plots. The character is inherently more likely to assume a background role. What a good retainer character should be is busy. They should always have something to do, waiting for nobility. So we could have a retainer to the noble house itself. We can still make this work, is what I'm trying to say. What if the questing knight is called Earl? Sorry, I'm just catching up on this now. Testing metal comes from an Earl. That Earl and Lady Griffinsbane are the only ones who can set tested metal. Retainers to an Earl. Okay. So my Earl has a retainer, I think, but I don't know if that breaks any rules. Personal attendant is kind of what a squire is. You keep your nobles. Yeah, Jeeves and Worcester. Yeah, okay. Oh, hello. My stream is going a bit uppity. We good? Okay, right. So, let's write this out. We are the retainer of an Earl house. Okay. Something happens to that Earl. Because it's only the Earls who can set the quests. The Earl gets fucking done in. We don't take their place. But because we have been so close to the Earl, friendship to the Earl, we rise. He or they give a test to whatever. Test. I'll put a metal test. So, basic background, we had a retainer of an Earl house. The Earl gets fucking done in, and because of the personal friendship that we've built in with this Earl and the house itself, the Earl on his deathbed gives a metal test. That could be verse 1. Right? So if that's V1, you have to jump out, have fun with the song, and Merry Christmas. Thank you very much for joining in, my friend. And thank you very much for following. Merry Christmas to you too. Or Yule, if my lovely Christmas jumper is to be believed. Which I think Yule's already come and gone, I think, hasn't it? I have I planned for both occasions. I think, like, does that make sense to everybody else? Like, we had a retainer of an Earl house. The Earl gets fucking done in because of personal friendship. They give us a test of metal on the deathbed. That will give us enough information to get in a full verse. I don't know whether or not it will do a full verse, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's 32 beats. That should be good enough. That should be enough with the music. Why am I using such disgusting font? Oh, for God. Smo, what are you doing? Woman! It's Times New Roman. It's default, alright? Fuck it, hell. Fine, I'll get an Arial. Nah, you know what? Just for that. Comic Sans. I'm watching you all unsubscribe in droves. We'll put it on Calibri. That's standard. Noble House, but that's pedantic. That's just being me. Okay. That's just me being. Oops. I'm just trying to make it all work together. I have to jump out as well. Want to deliver prezzies to the other nobles. Have lots of fun though. Keep on jamming. Thank you, Eva. I'm gonna do more of these. I think this is not going to be a single stream sort of deal. I think we're getting all of the information we need now, and then we're gonna work it all out. This is not going to be done tonight. I'll say that for free. Comic Sans is actually alright. It's one of the few default free fonts that make it easy for dyslexic people to read. Says a lot about myself. The professional font. It is not. Let's see. So the noble house. I think that could work. Second verse will be their test proper and completion of it, so they progress up the ladder further. I agree with that. So let's put that down. Oh no, we need the pre-chorus. So what's the pre-chorus gonna be? Pre-chorus is another 32. Wait. Nah, it's more than that. Let me check. So that would be first verse, and then or what I can do is just sack off the term of pre-chorus and have that entire verse, or that entire thing as a verse. I only jumped in because I wanted to check my minor name change went through, but I love you. You are a sausage. And you're... Wow. And you're using Dex bonus fucking emojis. That's brilliant. Okay. So, if we take the term of pre-chorus out, my thinking now is our original plan, I think, here was to have each verse, yes, be a step in the journey, but the chorus was going to refer to us wanting to be Big Clank, then into working on it, and then into got it. How would that work for us? I think it would still work if we had the first chorus being wanting to be Big Clank. That could just be, aspirations. And that's fine to have aspirations. But then, if we wanted to have it in that kind of a format, the chorus will need to change and account for that while still maintaining most of the same words. That's what I think, anyway. That's kind of how I think of this. So, if that's the case, then we can stick a little bit more information in here. If I take this out and I just genuinely go, that is verse 1, right? Here. This entire thing, verse 1. Obviously, it's not quite perfect, but... Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Alright, so hang on. If I take this... There. That's verse 1. So then this takes this rhyming shit over to possibly another 1, 2. And then this... I don't know why this isn't... this is just long drawn out. So this is Butsu. So this is the entire like of this. So it's in half really. So this could be 3, and it doesn't have to worry about that sort of shit. This is just shit I'm thinking about off the top of my head. If that's the case, then verse 1 could get all of this and I'll say verse 1 or start to verse 1, right? And then this next bit would just be actually where was it that you say? Actually fighting, becoming, or as knight errant. No, it is T. Getting into the Grand Tourney. No, not the Grand Tourney. Getting. Oh fuck! Where was it that you said better? There we go. Second verse would be their test proper and completion, so it progresses and they go up the ladder. That's true. That's what I wanted to see. Thank you very much, GM. As knight errant, performing or going out and completing quest or test, and becoming noble. And they would need to become noble in order to go up that particular path. If I take this and pop it here, there, and I'll put that in bold so it all sticks out. Lovely. Okay, so that's verse 1. And then going into noble is also a bit of verse 1. And then the chorus is chorus 1, I should say. Hang on. Oh shit. The way the chorus sounds in its setup to do sounds to it. The way the chorus sounds in its setup to it sounds like the chorus is in fact the progression. Want to do it, doing it, done it. Have I got that right? Yes, that's what I want to do. Boonshy Gaming is saying, do you like metal music? Yes, I do. If so, can I show you a song you would not expect to be so good, but you will end up jamming out to it? Don't see why not. Might even work as a possible filk down the line. Yeah. Prince whatever. Okay, I obviously won't be able to do this up on stream, but I will search this. I've got that here. Perfect. I'll keep that up for later on. Thank you very much, man. Is it? It is opening. Thing is, I think I might. I mean, if they're fine with it. Oh, he does not agree with DMC. Okay, fair. I'll tell you what. I'll keep working on this chorus bit for now, and I'll listen to it in just a second, if that's okay. We've got to get this shit down, otherwise it's going to rattle around in my brain, and we're not going to be able to do anything for it. So GM, yeah, we want to have the chorus one as "wanna do it" in your own words. Dreams of glory and wearing plate. I don't know why. Acting in a sense as a questing knight, you know, because these are quite romanticized figures. I like to think that this person, being such a humble Yuo folk, will see this romanticized view as a questing knight and kind of go, that's awesome, I would love to do that. Although you can well, saving the damsel. Well, actually, no, not saving the damsel, because it's not chivalry. It would be righting the wrongs, as it says here. It's your right and duty to right the wrong. So yeah, that could be pretty much that. So the verses are in steps between progression. Yeah, that's kind of what I think. We get your idea of doing this progression of a chorus of want to do it, doing it, done it, with Eva's steps in the journey as doing it in the similar kind of way to Knight's Tale, but also not in the similar way to Knight's Tale. And then maybe later on, as Fendrenix says, we can either have take the throne, or it could be our downfall, and we can sort that shit out from there. It looks like you needed a break anyways. You looked a bit off when you were reading the message. That is true. We have been streaming here for 2 hours and 41 and a half minutes. That is quite a long time for me. Well, I say talking is quite a long time, but then I don't tend to get the same figures. When I'm doing my gaming stuff, I think I usually get about 3 tops. I've seen here hit at least 10. So maybe I found my niche. Who knows? If the chorus is want to do it, dream to glory, wearing plate, right to do it. It's kind of just like daydreaming shit. Daydreaming the impossible, they think. You know, they kind of dismiss it as, oh, it's never going to happen, or get back to work or something like that. That could be the first chorus, and that could be pre-chorus to chorus, PC to C. This is all making sense. Right. So when that's done, we go back to... Whoops, wrong one. Next verse, which will be V2. Which will be, in this sense, the... I can't tell whether or not the first verse is going too fast. Do you know what I mean? Like, this second verse could be entirely dedicated to the heroic deeds and heroic / glory whilst doing the test. My thought is it's like practice. He's in now. He's got it, and now he's got to be like, okay, right. So how do I now become a knight errant? That's what I would think the V2 would be, an entirely dedicated verse just to that. I feel like with verse 1, as we have it with the pre-chorus, it might just be a bit too much. What do you think? Because I personally now think I might try and keep working on this until 6. What's the middle step of Dawn aspirations to become an Earl? Marriage. I didn't actually think of that. That's the one of the other tests. Test of Ardua. Marriage brings yet another challenge to Dawn nobility. The suitor must put their troth to the house of their intended. The Earl of that house must set the suitor a test of their... a test of their choosing called the Test of Ardor. A request for marriage, like a request for a test of metal, may not be refused. If the suitor succeeds, then they marry the intended and become a member of their spouse's house. Right. That would solve the issue of, having the. From what I read about the tests of metal, you don't want it to seem too easy. If it seems too easy, people will just think, "Oh, well, that was too easy. He's not properly earned it yet." So, would this instead, if this is instead the test of Ardor, we then bring in this extra shit, like we need a love interest. Wait, what? Sorry, I'm very Earl is independent from marriage. Okay, so you don't need to marry someone to become an Earl and then run a house. No. The house more or less picks the Earl. It's not really a hereditary thing, but if it's too hard, especially with the Test of Ardor, they think you don't respect. Is your alerts off? Yes, it is. It is off. I apologize because I did just get I was just like, what the fuck? I got an email through saying that you donated £1, which is very, very, very generous. Thank you very much for doing that, man. That's fucking insane. Holy shit. You know what? I'm very quickly... There, you've donated £1. Take a break and refresh your mind whilst watching my friend's song. Give me a second. I'm going to switch over to my PC scene. I'm going to bring over my alert box, copy that, and put it in my on-screen. I do apologise that did not go through. There you go. That should be there now. If a test of Ardor is too hard, it's seen as a polite no. So, in theory, having completed the test of metal, you could start gallivanting around doing glorious stuff as an Earl, as a noble, and then you see in your ways of doing so a lady from or a gentleman, depending on what this person is going to be, from an opposite house or a different house, who gives you a test of Ardor. Ardor? Yeah. And then, are we going to do like a test of verse? Because that will be a really fucking way of doing it. That is a very, hang on, there's 3 fucking tests that an Earl can do. Test of settle, I should say. A test of metal, a test of Ardor, and a test of resolve. Metal is for going up. That should be verse number 1. Trying to get that shit all sorted so you can get yourself into nobility. From there, the test of Ardor, another test that will get you married, which will get you slightly better off, which could help you become an Earl of a house, perhaps. The test of resolve, which is more like a duel. This could be where our hero, this could be the throne or downfall that Fendrix was talking about earlier. Have we just gone and fucking solved it? Oh, a resolve is to resolve disputes. Who'd have thunk? Okay. A fair test. Complaints against individual nobles. They're not always accepted. However, facing such a challenge is simply a way for a foreigner to impress, especially if they can win, at least lose graciously. A test of resolve between members of a noble's house is the only way for a noble to be ejected from the house. Such tests are rare, for the challenger risks the same fate as the person they challenge. The loser is stripped of their nobility and reduced to the state of yeofolk. Oh no! Such a fate is almost irreversible. It is exceptionally rare for another house to allow a formal noble to join. They must take a second test of metal to prove themselves, and such tests are fatally difficult. It must be clear to everyone who witnesses the test that it was difficult enough to erase the stain of previous failure. If V1 is retainer becomes errant via dying noble, and V3 is that retainer is now an Earl, and again dies to pass the quest to his retainer, what's the stuff in the middle to be put in V2? That's what I'm thinking now. Do we have that as Test of Ardor into Earl and... Well, Earl's where it's got to end, right? Would bring glory to the house be a suitable quest? I'm sure it would be. Also, Jasmine, how does one go from Earl to possible Empress? Do you have to get into the politics side of that? Because I know Earls can branch off into becoming enchanters. Hang on, let's just go to Empress. The throne. The throne is the most powerful political position in the Empire. It's a formal title of the position of head of the imperial state. Be they emperor or empress. The occupant heads the imperial senate, the imperial synod, and the imperial military council, and serves as a rallying figure for the entire empire. Okay. Limitations, no powers, powers of virtue, powers of magic, powers of war, imperial favor, using imperial favor, appointment. An imperial citizen may seek election to the throne, but appointment requires a constitutional vote by the imperial senate. Okay. A notion is raised that we should have a throne. Any holder of an imperial title with the power of a proposal can choose to put forward a candidate, whether it is their self or another imperial citizen. Therefore, then, if they were... Okay, right. My mind now is going towards the Grand Tourney. Tourney. Okay. Because at the end of the Grand Tourney, you become a Knight Protector, which is an imperial title, which means if you have that imperial title, you can say, oh, by the way, I want to put myself forward as emperor or empress or queen or king or whatever. And that could be the way in which we go from absolute muck to the emperor or empress. I like the thought of it being open-ended, though. There's a part of me that's like going with Fendrenix of the throne and or their downfall. We don't know. It could go back to then the chorus again, which would repeat on "I've done it," and then it could repeat. The chorus could repeat twice into a slightly more like palm muted, I guess. The way I would think of doing that. If I was doing Run the Trods, for example, or something along those lines, there's two choruses at the end, right? I repeat the chorus. The chorus in this is... and then whatever goes on after that. We could repeat the chorus instead of having full chords. It could just be one of each. Oops. Something along those lines. Which will kind of put the importance in, even if it's just the first one. So C, F, G, A, M. So it would go C, pause, 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 G, pause, pause, A minor, pause, 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 F, pause, 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 G, pause, pause, E, pause, 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 C, pause, pause, F, pause, 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 G. You know, that sort of thing. It could put more emphasis on what's actually being said. I feel like that could possibly work. We could leave it open-ended in that case. I'm going to write that shit down before I forget. Open-ended last chorus. Open-ended last chorus. Palm muted, Willy won't he? For the throne. Okay. My English is terrible today. Don't worry, my English is even worse trying to fucking read this shit. It's nothing to do with you. It's just I'm quite tired. Enchanters are just magic using earls. Okay, that's fine. This is hard because there's delay with the chat and I type slowly. I apologize. So basically, anyone can run for throne, but you won't win unless you have enough support. So courting votes from Senate. Okay. So then, who'd have thought it that getting yourself the imperial title of Emperor or Empress is going to take longer than a verse to try and do. Let's see. Would the test of resolve work where two opposing candidates from Dawn after the position or the support then... Wait. Would the test of resolve work with two opposing candidates from Dawn, one being yourself and the other person being somebody else, after the position of Emperor or Empress, or after being given full support by Senate? So you're having a test of resolve to see who could get the most Senate support. And then winner gets the support, loser goes back to being a yeoman. Is that what you mean, Fen? Because I think that's kind of what I've been trying to get across in terms of how... The cool thing about Filks, Jazz, is we can pretty much wing it. People will know most times that you can get away with certain things for... for the purpose of, telling a story. It doesn't have to. Test resolves aren't undertaken lightly, and they're usually within noble houses. Damn. I'm just trying to think of a way in which we can, using only a few verses, portray this story. The Earl sets the test. What if you're already the Earl? Can you set a test for yourself? A test of resolve for yourself? Let's look at this shit. Falls to the Earl to settle the matter. Usually the Earl sets a challenge to resolve the matter. Test resolve. Okay. And they're set so they aren't biased towards one person or the other. See the resolve as a way to have a dispute sorted out via battle, which is what kills the Earl, who then grants the quest. Okay. This is... I understand this is... If you have a bard and a knight, getting into a dispute is unfair if you said it as martial test. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. So it's got to be something along the lines of, it's got to be equal. Equal for both. The thought that I think we're trying to have is, could an Earl set such a test of resolve that will allow favor to be given for an imperial, okay. To prerequisite that, let's say that us, in verse 2, manages to win the, Grand Tourney. It's an imperial title that's held for a year, right? So we're a noble now who is a knight protector, who is having a dispute with somebody else who holds all of the favor to be the next emperor, empress, but they're being a dick, and you, in your noble-ish ways, have seen that they're being a dick, and you are, because of all the shit you've learnt from Bia, it's your right and duty to right the wrongs. You try and right that wrong, and he, being a prestigious dueler, or someone who does battles and shit, they go to their Earl, and the Earl sets the test of resolve. And if that person, okay, let's start again. You win the Grand Tourney, which gives you the title of Knight Protector, right? Yeah. You're given Knight Protector. Somebody else sees you win Knight Protector, who is the next in line, the best Dornish choice for the throne. They don't like that you won, or for some reason they just don't like you. They challenge you to a test of resolve. They want you back as a yeoman because they recognize you as a yeoman for some reason, right? They want you back there. So you basically have to bet, like, the test of resolve is either you win and you gain all of the favor that was going to the bad dude goes to you. If you lose, everything's stripped from you and you're gone back to a yeoman. Thank you, Boonchi. Let's see. That might be a fight in the Glory Square. Yeah, challenging in the Glory Square. Maybe if you want to bypass the test of resolve. Okay. So it doesn't have to be a test of resolve. It could just be a flat-out challenge. Yeah? So, from what you're telling me, the test of resolve is very... it's got rules with it, right? It has to usually be within the same house, and it's usually something quite minor. We could bypass that and then just go straight up challenge in the Glory Square for the same kind of things. I become a yeoman if I lose, or they give over all of the Imperial standard shit. So it could work. Well, I want to know if it could work, and if it can work. Now that Dawn is gone, I'm still possibly at sea. What? Hang on. Hold on. I need to write this shit down, and I'll see if I can make it easier. Okay. So we win the tourney, making us Knight Protector. Or favor a split as your victories increase your popularity. Yeah, okay, you're now that Dawn is gone, I'm still a possibility. Okay, I get what you mean. That's why I'm writing this down, and hopefully I'm going to make it easier for us. Okay, we win the tourney, making us Knight Protector. I'll put in brackets person A, right? Person B. The person with next in line for throne position, with the backing and everything, you know. What if they don't make an imperial title or throne? That could be an ambition, but it doesn't come into play, as they die before they get to that stage. That could also work. That could take out all of the shit that we've been working towards. If I type it up first, Eva Shambles is... she is I know her real name is Dawn. She is the experienced Dawnish player, but she's currently not here. So then, because you also said you were, like, Dawnish, it's all going to you now, love. This is how it works. Person B, next in line for the throw position, throws down a challenge. Be a yeoman again, or become next in line. And then that's the open-ended last chorus bit, because then that will go down here, because we won't find out. That's option 1. I'm putting that down so just that could work easier for us. Option 2 is thrown unreachable, becomes Earl, dies in a heroic way, and then gives test of metal to aspiring yeoman. Is that what you mean? I'm panicked. Don't worry, love. Don't worry. You're fine. You're doing fine. This is supposed to be, you know, it's titled Filking 101, the basics of how to get started, and it's taken us 3 hours now, and we've only just really got into the nitty-gritty. We've not started any of the lyrics. We're still getting the basic shit done, and that is fine. So GM Nightbear, how does that look for option 2? The throne's unreachable. In the next verse, I'm going to assume... I like the thought of having another test here, you know? I like the thought of the test of Ardor. Ardor, not Ardor. The test of Ardor being a thing, right? And you're still... Once you do that, you become an Earl, perhaps? That could be how you do it. And then that could be verse 2. Practice glory, become an Earl. And I'll put that here. And then chorus 2, which is doing it. Kind of still dreaming of glory. Got some plate, or something along those lines. Right and duty is still to right the wrongs. That is, you know, that's still going to be something there. Daydreaming the impossible, maybe. Maybe still daydreaming about of the throne. Throne, that could work. Okay, and then V3 is everything here. Let's see. It's a process. Yeah. Second verse could be the Ardor test and gaining Earlship. Banging. If person A and B are in the same house and neither are the Earl, their Earl could be a test of resolve. Wait. They're in the same house and neither are the Earl. Their Earl could be set. Could set. Okay. Are we talking about option 1 again? I think at this point, option 1 is seemingly less likely to happen. I'm more interested in this full circle thing that GM's been talking about. And that being the case, option 1 becomes fairly obsolete quite quickly. GM Nightbear, then verse 3, some resolve which leads to Earl's death. Ooh. okay. Right. Right. So this one, you are giving, perhaps, the test of resolve. Maybe? Maybe. That would be a pretty cool way. Like, either way, unless you're talking A and B are in the same house, like, stray arrow, yeah, maybe. The Earls, though, as far as I can tell, yeah, the Earls make sure that everybody else does the glory so that the house gets the glory. Right? So that so with that in mind, usually I'm assuming the Earl would take a bit more of a back seat. Not a lot of a back seat, but they can still die. Oh, fuck. Okay. I promise what we'll do is we'll get the basics of this shit down. Right? We'll get the basics of everything. Like every chorus, every verse. We'll get that shit sorted and squared away. When that's done, I will stop the stream and we'll pick this up at some point within the next couple of days. Probably not, any time for Christmas. That's family-oriented shit. Maybe something next week. I think that would be quite helpful. Because I'm starting to lose my mind a little bit, and I'm sure you guys are probably losing your mind as well. Could have settled down as an Earl because wife. Very true. Very true. In fact, that would probably work slightly easier in terms of progression. Yeah, so that could certainly work. Test of Ardor, practice glory, become an Earl. Someone becoming an Earl, I'm sure, is literally just going, wait, Earl of their own house. Need a good test of resolve that would get an Earl out into the field. Yes, we do. Test of resolve that will get somebody in the field that may get them killed. They're not that deep, are they? Not like this. Perhaps the incident could be in relation to how we got to be someone's claiming invalid status on our original test of metal, for example, or even thinks their test of ardor, denying the previous tests that we did correctly. And yes, I do have a mind. Thank you, Chris. Bastard. Mr. Neon. With his fancy spoons and his big axes. This is just me thinking out loud here. I mean, the only other reason that I can think that somebody else would be called into the field is literally just the line of duty. Okay. Because then if that happens, I will bring person B back. Maybe person B was a Knight Protector. I don't know. Okay. Hang on. Let's take option 1 out of it. I don't think we need option 1 anymore. We don't need that either. Take the field at Anvil. Yeah. So we could just, maybe we know that the throne's unreachable. We come an Earl. Maybe reminiscent of glory days. Yeah, one last hurrah. I'll put that down as you, my dear. Oh shit, just butcher your fucking Twitch name. One last hurrah, yeah, and then gets onto the field and gives their retainer. Yeah, because they have a retainer now. I guess they'll be fucking reminiscent of glory days. Goes back into battle with retainer. Okay, dies in a heroic way and it gives a test of metal to retainer. I like that. It's a good one and doesn't need much thought as to why they would. It's relatable. Yeah, okay, there we go. So, option 2 has now become verse 3. Okay. I think that one works quite well, actually, in terms of it. So, let's go through it one more time. I will put here, verse 1. Okay. Let's just make this look pretty. Ah, fuck. Nope, wait, back it up. There we go. Right. Then I'll bring this over here. Verse 2. That. And then chorus 2. And then verse 3. Take all this. Cut. And paste. Oh, shit the bed. That's not what we need. That's not what we need at all. There. No. Oh, fuck's sake. Please. There we go. Right. Fucking word. Okay. I think that works. That will work. And then chorus 3 with maybe... Oh my god, look at that. Chorus 3, which was Done It. The Done It attitude. Dreamt of glory days. Dreamt of glory. In full plate. Because why not? Right and duty to right the wrongs. I'm going to stick with that as being very canon. And then daydreaming of what, if anything? Daydreaming of what? Because we put daydreaming as things like normal. Daydreaming the impossible. Daydreaming the impossible in this case would be literally raising above ye, O folk. Daydreaming 2 was daydreaming of the throne, and just like, yeah, but that'll never fucking happen. And then number 3, daydreaming of what? Or proper dreaming. Done it, finished their quest, passed the torch. So it could be dreaming of what the retainer can do. Holy shit. Fuck, that looks pretty good. I'm quite enjoying that. This is fun. Like this is why I do it. Nice. All right, let's highlight all of these as this, that, and the other. So, in the course of this stream, we've managed to debunk many things about the Dornish, including a full family background check, how every single class system works, legacy as well. Yes, that'll work. Dreaming what the retainer can do. I'll say legacy and glory actually there because we've done all this shit. I won't put a second chorus in there, I don't think. Let's get rid of some of this shit. We don't need that. Yeah, folks, starting from the bottom, passing to the metal, we did that. Yeah, we did that. Patron, we don't need anything to do with a patron, I don't think. No, maybe not. We'll keep that just in case. Got that. Baron's Orcs. Delicate subject. We can have that. Oh, God. What if it's against the Baron Orcs? Oh, pull on the heartstrings. Yeah, fuck it. Why not? Yeah. Retainer is their legacy. Spot on. I'm going to add that as well. Now, let's bring this back up a little bit and then bring it down so it's all on the same page. Perfect. Okay, I would say that is as damn near close as I'm going to get to having a cohesive story right now. We know what we're going to do in verse 1. We know what we're going to do for the first chorus. Verse 2, second chorus, verse 3, and the last chorus. I am happy where that is. And I'm sure everybody is just as fucking sick of talking about this. But here's the deal. We have not actually started writing it yet. And I think because of the way that my voice is, I'm not going to start. I'm not going to start writing stuff now. I am going to have a break. Have a lie down. I have some... So, for those of you who don't know, for my flat anyway, our oven is broken. So I've been preparing a menu and how to perform certain things over the past couple of days, and I need to prep vegetables because I can't do that tomorrow. So I now know far more than I ever needed to know about the Dornish. Thank you for the opportunity to help. Thank you guys. Like, you fucking wrote this. I didn't write this shit. If it was down to me, it would have been horse shit. Or ox shit. I am glad that we managed to make so much progress, and you've been really, really helpful. And what I want to try and do is if I get this, rephrase. When this filk is completed, I will perform it at Songs and Stories, either the virtual one or the real one, and then I will find a way to perform it to the Dornish and hope to Christ that they give me a clap at least. How is that? Any of the songs that we write together, I will try and perform to the respective nation. Now to start, time to start my own filk that I've been procrastinating on. Fucking right. If you haven't done your own shit by now, and you've got nothing else to do for the rest of the afternoon or evening, do your own stuff. My throat really fucking hurts. Right, let's start on my thank yous, I think. Let's scroll up a little bit. Thank you for Krishna, Archaic Wolf Paws, Wyamorous LARP, Jasmine, I Am Sorrow, and Bushi for following, or Bunshi, my apologies, Bunshi for following me. Thank you everybody else, Fendrenix, Geom Nightbear, Jasmine again, Chris, you've been moderately helpful, but more of a hindrance. Eva, everybody for helping me out with making this. It would not be here if you guys hadn't helped, and it would have been in the same state as it was, just some Japanese lyrics with a vague thought of what to do in the start. Just enter their camp and belt it at 7 a.m. Mate, that's gonna be how. Or maybe I'll get into my own. Maybe I'll get into my own test of resolve against the Bombador, the bardic things. Bardic things, fucking hell. I feel like that's gonna be it for now. Guys, you've been fucking super. I'm going to save this under. I'm going to save it under Power and Glory, which is the Word document for it. I'm just going to make sure that I have it actually saved as a proper Word document. In fact, you know what? Let's save it as a document. Instead of open text, we're going to have it as a Word document. There we go. Now it's official. It is official indeed. Troubadour. I want to have a fucking battle with them anyway. A good wake-up call for them, perhaps. But also, if I had a death wish, I feel like waking anybody up in the field. Right. Yep, I've been going for 3.5 hours, guys. I need to go and prep some veg. Thank you so much for rocking up. I will put up on Facebook when I'm going to do this again. If not, if you scroll down, you should be able to see some of the links that I've got. I actually might put this as a VOD, depending on how kind Twitch is seeming with the music that we chose. So, yeah, that's where I'll call it. Oh, goodness. Yeah, I'll next post that will require something to do with this. I will post saying, okay, so the LARP stream where you all rocked up and did this. So yeah, see you all lovely people later. Bye.